Hey,
hello, Patreon members.
Hey. It's us. We're here. We're doing.
We are
things
back.
Yeah. I'm gonna start this controversially, and it's gonna bite me in the ass a year from now when I make it public.
Okay.
I don't like Mr. Stevie. I'm just saying it. I don't like him as a person. I think.
Wait a second.
I'm just saying it. I don't care.
Wait a second.
Yeah, I know. I'm starting off strong. I'm starting off hot.
Well, I'm gonna rewind a little bit. Doesn't on YouTube? Do they get the Patreon intro, or do you cut it?
Yeah, no, I don't cut that out.
Oh, really? So our YouTube?
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to others uploading. Which I a long time ago you told me, or whenever you were in Louisville, hanging out with me in person, or Nashville. I can't remember what city we were in, but I remember you telling me to keep uploading shorts because it gets us subscribe. It. And I forgot to do it, and I've been doing that lately. So I don't pay attention to our normal YouTube, but
I just make them live. I don't cut anything out. I just
I didn't know our Patreon intros end up making it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, real quick, before we start flaming Mr. Stevie, let's give a quick shout out to the people who have commented. Pletho, Gamerzone, and the Wilbon jumping in the live chat. Mike Case with a super hot fire from the jump. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to give you the floor now.
I don't know.
Honestly.
No, it's too much. Now there's too much on. I'm just saying, the guy just...
You can take me out of this one, actually. Go ahead.
Hold on. I'm getting a phone call. This is Patreon intro.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll take you take your phone call. I'll take the baton.
No.
I got beef with Mr. Stevie.
I turned it off.
I got beef with Mr.
Yeah,
Stevie.
no, you go. You go then. You make yourself big. You talk. Let's spend this time talking about what we don't like about Mr. Stevie.
Yeah, that's perfect. I used to like Mr. Stevie a lot.
Me too. Me too.
I genuinely think he is, obviously, he's a collector. I think he has great intentions, but he doesn't represent me. He represents the TVC people. He calls us Sixers. I think Mr. Coffee has the best rant on this, from Monday Night Pickleball. But he literally calls us Sixers. He made a post about
Mr. Coffee did a rant about this? Oh.
Yeah, he's been kind of leading the charge,
Mr. Coffee.
too.
Oh, good. You know what? I'll get behind Mr. Coffee on this. I did not know that. And he has an ally in Mike Case. I'm just saying.
Sorry, I just got a text from Justin saying he sent out my Armored Commando bought from him, but I haven't paid him yet, so...
Oh, now you don't have to pay him. Oh, he's
I know, now it's free, right?
You fool. That's how it works. Anyways, yeah, I feel like, so let's take the other day, for example, where he's trying to boost this artist, where they took pictures of their art and used some AI program to give it, motion. And like, it's terrible. It's like objectively terrible. AI is terrible. There's tons of just real world scenarios in which this is just awful. But he's like, no, this is so great. I'm like, it's not great. And then he makes a post where he's like, I thought that would get people upset. I'm just here to start a conversation. Like, no, you piece of shit. You stop that. Like, you got backlash, and almost not 100%, but almost universal backlash. There were people that like it or whatever, but like a lot of people were like, this is just AI slop, which is what I said. And he just does that I'm just trying to get the conversation going. And I'm like, you shut up. Just go back to your 3.75 inch toys and shut up.
That's all. Retro. Go back to your retro stuff.
In retro, and shitty ass retro figures. Listen, guys, if you like retro, that's fine. I know we have friends. Jake from Forlorn
loves retro.
Loves retro stuff, and I will never take that from him. But it's like, you saw toys when you were 6 years old, and you're like, this is all I'll ever love forever. And that's all you ever want, is the toys that you saw when you were 6. The likenesses are garbage. And then people that love those usually turn around and go like, well, that Luke Skywalker doesn't look like Mark Hamill. Like, the ones that you grew up with didn't either.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating sometimes. It's very frustrating to be a collector. I just want to be in peace. I just want to enjoy what I enjoy. And there's just people that try to make it not fun.
Yeah, and also with Mr. Stevie, like, I feel like he's a little too hard with the TVC support. And then,
yes,
because it's so obvious whenever he posts a reveal about Anakin and Rex, and then like he puts like a sentence about it, and then immediately jumps to like, but you can also get the TVC stuff.
You can also, yeah.
Oh, like dude, shut up. Nobody cares. That shit's not selling. Like get out of here, bro. It's just, he's gotten on my nerves lately. Like,
he's been getting on my nerves a lot. Yeah,
I know it. And then I kind of made this like connection. I'm not sure it's a coincidence that he gets back on board, and then we get that shitty ass repack of Balin and Shin, the Walmart exclusive with the clothes. Like, I feel like this is all his idea. Like, I'm just gonna solely blame him for everything that goes bad now. You know what? Mr. Stevie came on board with Star Wars Black Series, and then during the worst years, is it a coincidence that now we're getting repacks with like Shin and Balin as Target exclusives, Target and Walmart exclusives 2 months later, or a month later with cloaks?
Yes, because he immediately was like, next month I want this. It doesn't take any time to make those figures. They definitely weren't on the works for a long time.
I'm blaming him and him alone for everything that goes wrong going forward.
Pletho says that he has a hot take that he doesn't have any strong opinions. And that's, that's fine. I wish I didn't. And I didn't used to. In fact, I used to love Mr. Stevie back when he was just on the Marvel team, just kind of this quirky guy that would just talk about toys sometimes. Like, I don't know. And I'll get over it. It's not the end of the world. I'm not like, oh man, everything sucks. They need to fire Mr. Stevie. I just have some gripes with the guy. That's it. That's as far as it goes. If I saw him in person, I wouldn't be like, I'm gonna punch you, Mr. Stevie. Like, we'd probably have a conversation like I did, like I had with like the Red Wagon diorama, David, the Red Wagon diorama guy. Like, I'll talk it out. Let's have a conversation, And I feel like we were cool after that. So I just, when you have some gripes with someone, you just talk about it. But yeah, I don't know why.
You were very straight with that too at ICCCon. I wasn't expecting it.
I just wanted to talk about it because otherwise we would have just been awkwardly sitting there, like making weird small talk for a long time. And I feel like after we talked about that, it let us I don't know, be more open. So,
yeah, I just don't feel like, I feel like he, behind the scenes, he advocates for TVC so much.
Yeah.
Where's our guy? Who is our guy?
Who our guy is. We have two guys.
Yeah, we have a couple guys, but
yeah, we got a couple guys.
They're not in the public as much.
I've noticed that.
They need to hire me and I'll be the public face for Black Series. And
Zach, public face for Black Series. Yeah, definitely Wilbon. Eric is one, but Eric hasn't been on streams in a while. But Mr. Stevie's on streams. It doesn't really matter. But
yeah, I wonder if he. I don't know if he got a promotion maybe, or if he has
or a demotion. Has he been on anything since the time he tried to spill the beans about Yoda? Where he's like, he got so excited, was talking about it, and Jing shut him down. And I don't think he's been on after that.
Yeah, and that is so annoying because just let the guy talk. It's not anything that's going to get Lucasfilm or has. He
wasn't spilling the beans about stuff that wasn't announced or anything.
Yeah, he wasn't leaking stuff.
He wasn't like, this Yoda's going to go really well with this Darth Sidious we haven't made yet or whatever.
Or what if he's the one that got the burner account and sent everything to Lucas?
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what.
Maybe he's salty. Maybe he's salty. Maybe it's him.
I linked this Pletho comment. I don't know if you're old enough to remember the Lego Maniac commercials. Are you old enough for that?
It sounds a little familiar, but I'd have to see it to actually.
Yeah. It was big in the late 80s. It was like Zach, he's a Lego maniac, and every time I have a friend named Zach that I grew up with, and it's every time I'm like, hey, the Lego maniac. It's just.
Good reference.
I have a lot of friends. Named Zach. Now that I think about it, at least 4. That's a lot.
Are we all skinny white guys? Lanky white guys.
Yes.
We have a type. We have a.
You have a type.
We're all just one sentient being living.
Lanky, skinny white guy.
I mean, it's peak. Peak male. Performance here.
It's true. If you want the ideal male, this is what it looks like. Zach, skinny, literally tall, white.
Jesus Christ.
I know. We're getting a little weird. Oh, anyways, hi, Patreon people. We love you.
Absolutely. From the bottom.
Unless apparently one of you is Mr. Stevie, in which case, I just want to have a conversation. That's all. I just want to have a conversation. It's not weird. I just want to have a conversation.
Which, he's not a Patreon member, so he might see this
in
a year.
What if he's got a secret Patreon membership?
He could. We do have a good amount of Patreon members, so
we have over 50. So I feel like that's enough for someone to slip in. Yeah,
52 and
48.
52, 48. It's gotten to 62 that one time.
Yeah, we did.
It was pretty sweet.
It was pretty cool. But you know what? I feel like we have a solid and dedicated group. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it grow, but that's just because it's fun. It's fun when something you do grows in popularity. The monetary stuff for me is secondary. I just like building a cool group of people. That's what I like. That's why I do it.
And it's definitely the sense of community, and because that's literally why I wanted to start a podcast, because I was literally just doing Instagram at the time, and it's I'm only posting, and people comment, and that's cool, but I'm not talking to anybody about the things that I love to collect,
right?
Star Wars in general, and the collecting hobby, and so it's I want to do a podcast so I can talk to somebody, and then maybe build a community, and I didn't. And then whenever we did, I don't know how many episodes we did before I pitched to you, we should open a Patreon, but whenever we see the amount of listens and downloads we get, it's maybe somebody will be willing to, and then we got a good amount right off the bat, and then. But
I think it's kind of fun that we have our community is spawning other communities, Monday Night Football and stuff. I will take credit for a lot of that stuff.
Well, Wilbon's like
heavily involved.
He's like our baby, and then he like went off to college, and then now he's turning into a professional YouTube show.
That's success. If I don't know what is, I'm just saying. I'm just super saying.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we have a spawn out there. We have a spawn out there, which I was texting Wilbon the other day. I told him I felt like a proud father.
I was texting him yesterday because I wanted to know. I was looking. Someone asked me what lights I used, and I have not liked my lights for a while now because you have to like individually turn them on anytime I want to turn them on. And I know it's not that big of a deal, but sometimes it feels like such a big deal to get up, flick all 20 of my lights on individually. So I messaged Wilbon. I'm like, hey, what's the ones you have with like the remote? Because the remote would be nice. And he's like, no, the ones I got suck. The batteries die all the time. And I'm like, dang it. Like, everything sucks. Like, mine suck. Like, I have to recharge them, once a week or whenever I use them, pretty much. Because I don't use them that much because it's a hassle to get up. Because I literally have 20 on my shelves. And it's like going through. And sometimes, I got a big hand. I'm not that delicate, and like I'll knock them over trying to turn the lights on because like my hand is larger than sometimes I remember that it is, and then it's like a hassle. I have to pick up the toys that I knocked over trying to turn on my light, and like it's real annoying. That's what for sure. That's what Wilbon said, is that Unc got some good lights. So I'm gonna hit up Fig Fury, who sent me a message thanking me because he did win our giveaway in December, and I sent mine out. I don't know if you sent yours out.
All right,
but I sent mine out.
I made the attempt, and my box wasn't big enough because I got to send out a carded figure. The box, but I did get a box today that I think it might be a little too big, but I'll just pack it with stuff. I do have an update for Wilbon though. So I have proceeded from his stuff from ICCCon sitting on my desk. To hang on, where's it at? It's moved from my desk to a box.
Oh my goodness!
With bubble wrap.
Literally, all you have to do is go to the post office. You can use the self-service kiosk to send it out. I'll give you another 2 months.
I'm doing it on Saturday morning.
You say that.
Look,
so 2 days from now. 2 days from now. All right.
Because I got to get the giveaway figure out, and my wife's gonna be out of town this weekend, so I'm all on my own. I don't have I have no plans, but I got to get this off my chest. I've had my brand new car for like 2 months to the day. We bought them November 23rd, I think. Right. There is a giant hole in the front of my car.
What happened?
I'm gonna pull it up right here.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, why you do that?
Go
ahead.
No, I got it. I don't want any comments about the snow on my car. We got our car wash membership the other day, and I have washed my car since. But look at this shit. That's on my front grill.
What happened? What'd you do?
I was driving home from work, and a piece of ice smashed into the front of it.
Damn.
I was driving home from work, and
that sucks.
I called, and they said like the warranty on my car is for like the motor or like engine.
Oh, you didn't get the cosmetics warranty?
All that stuff.
You didn't buy the cosmetics warranty?
No, I did not. So that's going to be. I mean, I might be able to put that on my collision insurance.
Yeah,
but I don't think it would even meet the deductible.
Yeah,
because whatever the deductible. I usually do a high deductible because usually in my mind it's like, well, I can afford whatever it is, and it won't happen that often. At least I'd rather just put more money in savings. But I looked at the part is like $700 if I bought it from the official site online, and then my buddy works at a body shop, and he said 3 to 4 hours probably. Because it's actually screwed into the front of the car, so they gotta like take off the whole front or whatever.
Oh like no!
Bumper there, and
here's what you do.
It's gonna be like $1,000, which sucks.
No. Just 3D print yourself a new one.
Okay, yeah, that'll work. Yeah, that'll work.
Easy fix, or like a patch. 3D print yourself a patch, and then,
just
glue it onto the front. Exactly. That's all I'm saying.
That's not the worst.
Easy fix. I know. And you can even make it fun, like make it like the Black Series Cantina logo or something like that, or like
put a sticker over
Skywalker head. It's all you need.
I was telling was it Justin? Somebody, I can't remember. Like, I don't have anything to do. Like, I have everybody's stickers, like I got this Zoo Boy sticker and the Wilbon sticker and the, the Out of the Basement sticker, but I don't put stickers on anything, so I'll just have the stickers. Maybe I'll just, do the trashy thing where you put, a bunch of stickers on all over the car. Not just, one nice sticker, but, 18 different stickers to cover the spot.
Yeah, so that no one will know. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's been bothering me the last couple of days.
Honestly, it would bother me too, especially if you got a brand new car. You haven't even had it a year and it's already got something like that. Like that's noticeable damage.
Yeah.
I remember because my last car I had got keyed in the parking lot. It was maybe 2 years into owning it, so it still felt new to me. And I'm just I've owned this car for 2 years and it's got keyed, and painting a car is not cheap.
Yeah.
That's because the scratch went down to the primer. It's you can't just touch it up. You have to
you can't do the little $40 paint pen.
No. I looked into that. Yeah, and no.
Because that's only surface level. You have to maybe sand it a little bit or whatever and then cover it up.
Yeah.
So, but I'm anyways, not a car guy, so I have no idea.
Pletho, my lights have the motion sensitivity thing too. The problem is, as soon as I stop moving or whatever, they turn off, and that bugs me. Having them turn on and off behind me is more annoying to me than just having them off. Anyways, so that was a good Patreon intro, I think.
Yeah, it's a longer one. I think we definitely need to jump into the pod now.
Yeah, we should definitely just jump into the pod, stop talking to our Patreon people, and talk to the real people that matter, and that's the normies out there listening to us on their podcasting platform of choice.
And we love the free listeners. There's nothing wrong with not being a Patreon member. Welcome.
Nothing wrong with it.
Welcome to Black Series Cantina, episode 87. We have a great episode lined up for you. We have some.
What are we calling it this time? What are we calling it? Because we've had. Yeah, what are we calling this episode? Because the one I came up with, we both had issues. What do we call this? What are we talking about today? Right now I have it listed as let's talk about the leaks, which is kind of boring. Hey, speak of the land speeder, Luke, and he shall appear. I think what you had was pretty good. Somehow,
old legs.
Somehow old legs returned.
So some type of play on old legs that we got to think of.
I think somehow old legs returned is a good one.
Help us out.
Yeah, no. Somehow old legs returned is what I'm going to name it. I'm just saying that's just what it's going to be. Yeah.
I was trying to think of Anakin quotes and then throw in old legs, but there's really nothing.
There's nothing that really works. Yeah.
Yeah. But welcome to Black Series Cantina 87. We have a great show lined up for you. We have a couple reveals to go over, and Luke Ness Monster dropped a bunch of figures, rumor leaks. You don't know what they are, so
he just dropped everything. He could have doled that out slowly over time, but he's nah. I'm just gonna make it all in one video. You
just gotta shoot the whole load. You got to do it. But so we're going to be going over that, and then we're also going to be talking about the Skeleton Crew finale and giving our thoughts not only on the finale, but the show as a whole.
Yeah.
But as we were saying, if you're listening to this for free on your audio podcasting app, if you want to watch the video, you can subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Black Series Cantina. We have a tier for every budget, $2, $5, $11, and we have VIP. I don't know if we have VIP spot open. I don't think we do, but $2, $5 gets you in the door. Yeah. So, all the Patreon support, really, really appreciate that. But I say, real quick, we jump into fine additions.
Let's do it.
Fine addition to my collection.
Mike, I'll go ahead and go first because I don't have that much.
Oh, sure.
I have two items, kind of weird items. So I made a rare WWE purchase of a figure I used to have. I used to own this in a much nicer packaging, but
oh yeah, that's beat up.
I sold this one a long time ago because it was actually worth quite a bit, and I was like, I don't really want the WWE Elites anymore. I only want to do the Ultimate Editions, but it was only $30 because of the beat up box, and I figured like with this specific Undertaker, they might not do an Ultimate Edition for quite a while, so I was like, it's worth having it. Worth having it back in the collection. So I was at my local comic shop and they had it, so I was like, you know what? Might as well. Sometimes
are you gonna open it up?
Impulse. Yeah, I'm gonna open this one.
Okay.
Put it on the
all right.
shelf, so.
I'm like, that's not the kind of box you really care about saving. Like that.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Like they look really cool whenever they're nice and pristine, and it is kind of an older one, but I just wanted the figure. And then the second item is not a figure, but it is I was finally, I've been trying to finish my Black Series version of the Sideshow Mythos Vader. Yeah. I got this base, which I got it on AliExpress for a little pricey. I think it was like $23 or $25. So
I don't think that's too bad for what it is.
Yeah, and it's pretty thick and it lights up really nice. So
yeah,
the helmet fell off, but this is, kind of what it looks like. And
that looks really nice. Yeah, that looks great. Where'd you get that cape?
This is from OT Customs, wired custom battle damage cape. And then I actually thank you. I actually got it included the battle damage skirt piece for him, but I didn't want to take the belt off and deal with all that. So I just, got some scissors and cut it up myself, and it matches pretty well. So, but that's all I got. If you want to see that, since you're listening on the audio version, go on my Instagram or TikTok. Yeah. I posted a video and pictures of it. You can see like the base lit up and the Vader fully posed on it. I'm pretty happy how it turned out. So, some people might think it's lame, but I'm a fan of it personally, and it looks great. It's going to look great on the shelf, I think.
Yeah.
But that's all I have. Those are my two items. So passing it to you.
Yeah, so I actually went to a toy show on Tuesday. Of course, I don't have anything Black Series related this year because I feel like at the beginning of the year, that's kind of how it always is. You either are picking up stuff from the end of last year or we're in that weird doldrums where, we did just have a live stream we'll talk about, but like there's nothing really coming out. But it was Geeking Out, I think is what it was called, in La Mirada, California, which is just north of Disneyland. I used to go to La Mirada a lot.
How close is that to like the fires and all that?
Oh no, it's
pretty far away.
The fires are still like a good half hour. So in California, we don't measure.
That seems close.
We don't measure things in miles. We measure them in time it takes to get there. That's a staple of how you measure California because the traffic is so weird. It could be like 10 miles away, but it could be a spot where traffic is always terrible. So saying 10 miles doesn't mean a lot if it takes 40 minutes to get there every time.
So 30 minutes is actually really close.
30 minutes is for LA actually pretty far. But it's like if I left my house right now and went to go visit Landspeeder Luke, it would take me about an hour and a half to 2 hours or 4 hours, depending on what time of the day I left.
I got you.
Yeah. But it's far enough away where like there's no like smoke or anything. Like it's pretty far. It's pretty far.
Do you remember how little traffic there was whenever you were in Louisville? We were driving downtown to the restaurant we ate at.
There's like no traffic.
Isn't that just so nice?
Yeah.
Wasn't that just?
I will say there's also fires here in San Diego right now, but nobody seems to care. Like. There's like
I'm not gonna lie
down here. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I haven't heard a single thing about San Diego also being on.
Yeah, fire. No, like there's like a fire down by the airport. But the thing is, there's always fires in California. That's like one of our seasons. Like you guys get tornadoes or whatever. We get wildfires, especially during this time of year with like the Santa Anas and stuff like that. But and I went to a toy show, and the whole reason I went is because the new current toy love of my life that's not the Black Series. I'm cheating on the Black Series with this line. And yeah, that is Four Horsemen's Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions. Four Horsemen was there in person. And if you ever go to a place or they're there in person, it's like the best thing to do because you can get their toys for their prices and you don't have to pay like shipping and stuff. So it's pretty inexpensive, relatively speaking. Yes, Lance Peter Luke, assuming I'm invited. I was assuming I would have been invited, but no, you're right. I shouldn't just assume that. But yeah, so they had earlier this year, like 3 weeks ago, they had an in-stock sale on their website, which is like, hey, you could order this stuff on the website. It's in stock, ready to ship. Because most of the time when they put stuff on their website, it's a pre-order and it's not going to come out for like a year and a half, 2 years. Because you're getting like it's like a HasLab basically, where they're like they make as many as people order it plus some for extras or whatever. But I have a couple orders on there that are hitting almost 3 years, just waiting for them to ship out. But they had in-stock sale because what they did was last year, they have a Legions Con in November, and they had an experience where you could go and build your own knight, where they had different colors. They had purple, red, green, and gunmetal. They had like 2 different heads, 2 different torsos, 2 different arms, 2 different legs, and you can kind of build your own unique knight however you wanted. And they had that in person there at their convention, but then they essentially kind of pre-assembled a bunch in specific configurations, and they sold them
just for show. Yeah,
just for show. Well, yeah, but then they sold them that way on their website. So they've got the 4 different colors. They have like an evil version and like a heroic version on their website. And I ordered during in stock. I ordered the 4 heroic versions because I like the way they look. And then when I was there in person, I was like, okay, like let me see what they look like in person. Maybe I'll pick up an evil one. And I did. And I think I should just buy them all at this point. But this is the evil gunmetal person. Now, the antlers here are something I added on from parts I just kind of had laying around. But it does come with like horns to put there. But like, just
that's really sick.
Look of, isn't it? Like the look of the armor is really, really cool. And then I got
I actually really love the antlers you put on there.
I love the antlers. They look really so good. Yeah. And then I got the evil green knight here.
Yeah, he's pretty sick too. The horns.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Those are the horns that the other one came with too, because they have the same head, just in 2 different colors. So the difference there is I couldn't choose, like if I didn't want, because I don't really love the spiky kind of legs and shoes, and I don't love the spiky gauntlets and stuff. I like the more kind of traditional armor looking looks. But those are coming, whenever 4 Horsemen get around to mailing out the ones I ordered in store from their in-stock sale. I also picked up, because they had them at the table, they had kind of a selection of stuff they just had around their warehouse there. And I picked up this cool looking demon chick.
Oh, she is cool.
Yeah, there's like a big demon guy back here on my shelf. And then down back here somewhere is a yellow demon guy. I think he's like right here. But, or like maybe he's down there. I don't know. Anyways, he's right here. He's literally right here, Mike. This is the yellow guy right here. He's a yellow demon guy. And there's a blue one I don't have. And if I get the blue one somehow, I'll have them all. I'll have all the demons they've made so far. But what's cool is the big one on the shelf right here. He's the yellow and the blue one kind of combined. Like if they did a fusion dance, like they turn into that guy. But I also picked up another one of these snake guys. Now I already had this one, but I like it so much. I was like, I want another one because they just look so cool.
Yeah, he is.
And sometimes it's fun because a lot of these guys, their parts work with each other. Like they're all pretty standard. So if I wanted to like combine the snake with something else, yeah. But then I would still have a snake and then I would still, I would have a new thing using that snake. And that's actually something I kind of wanted to bring up about this. They just did an announcement. I know we're turning into like a Mythic Legions chat right now, but I promise this is still about Black Series, and this is where I'm tying it together, because they just did an announcement yesterday where instead of announcing new figures, they announced heads for their figures. Just heads.
So you can interchange and swap whatever you need to.
They expect you to either buy the heads and swap them out yourself, or buy the heads and rebuy figures you maybe already own to get a new figure out of it. And the only thing you're changing is the head. But sometimes changing the head is like a big thing. Like it changes what the figure is by changing the head.
Yeah.
And I was thinking if Hasbro did that, I think people would lose their minds. I think people would throw fits. I can't believe you're just, doing new heads. What? It's so much reuse. It's like, you're just making us buy the same figures we already have with new heads. You're I just don't think they could get away with that. Hasbro couldn't get away with it.
Think about it. If Hasbro Pulse at this live stream yesterday said,
right.
If they said, we're going to sell you Jordan and Norwood's helmet now.
Right. Just the helmet.
Sold separately. Just the helmet. So now you can have the Captain
for $10. Yeah, exactly.
$10. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is how much
that wouldn't go over very well.
Yeah. You get 2 heads for $10. Or they have a deal where you can buy the base body the heads are intended to go with, plus 2 heads for $40. Which is $5 less if you just bought the figure by itself and the head. So you're saving a little bit of money there. But people were eating it up in the live stream for the announcement. They're like, oh yeah, these look great. Can't wait to get them and pop and swap and make them look cool. And it's so interesting, the difference between these people know they're essentially buying repaints. All these knights that are going crazy, these are all parts I have in the line. Nothing on here is new at all. They're just providing a different configuration and different colors of stuff I already own, but it's cool because it looks cool. It's interesting to me, the difference between the collectors that follow these little niche lines and then the mass toy collectors that just want something new, and if it's something they don't want, they throw a fit. I think it's interesting. That's all I'm saying.
I was thinking about it a little more.
Yeah.
I think there is a little bit more forgiveness given to those smaller niche toy creators, probably, and that makes sense. But now that I'm kind of thinking about it, it would be pretty cool if instead of getting Walmart exclusive Balin Skull with a robe now and then Target exclusive Shin, what if they did both robes for $10 on Pulse?
Sure. I would love that.
Right?
I would love to have bought just the robes for $10 easily. Or I think there are people, I'm definitely not painting everyone with the same brush here, because there are people if they did accessory packs or head packs or things like that, there are people that would love it. 100%. I'm one. I know you're one. Probably all the people that are in chat here with us would like it. But there are people online that would just be, I can't believe they're wasting time on this. They're just, blah, blah, blah. It's not a new figure. It's not a figure I want. It's not the same clone I've already bought 100 times with a different color or whatever. Like I said, I find it interesting, but I would love it if they did it right. Do more stuff like this. Yeah.
I have this Bespin Luke sitting here. What if they released a 100% new Bespin Luke? Yeah. Right.
Sure.
And then at the same time or a month later, they announced a configuration pack with a battle damaged head and the wrist cut off.
Yeah.
And some of the clothes tattered, and you swapped it out yourself. Is that better or worse than them re-releasing a different figure with the battle damage head, the cut off hand, some of the, you just swap out the arms to make it look a little like you got in a fight, right? What's the better alternative there?
So I would rather them release 2 different figures, because
I'm that way too, because I would want on 3D print and then on the CSV shelf.
Yeah. Because if they did it the other way, where they released the figure and then just an accessory kit, it would be more expensive for me, because I would have to buy 2 of those figures and then the accessory kit versus just one figure and then one figure configured a different way. Yeah.
I feel like there's a way to do it where I think it would be acceptable, and then also a way where it could go wrong.
Yeah.
But luckily, you don't have to make that decision and sit there for 8 hours, deciding what's best.
Yeah. Well, in a lot of collectors, defense, again, I'm not trying to paint everyone with the same brush here. I think if Hasbro had done something like this where they're like, hey, here's some heads, or you can buy these, like you could buy the Luke with that add-on kit cheaper than buying them separately. Because that's what Four Horsemen did, where they're like, okay, you could buy the heads by themselves, or you could buy the head with the figure cheaper than buying them individually. But Hasbro wouldn't do that, and I will 100% agree. Like Hasbro would just find a way to charge more money, like whatever nets them more money. That's the route they
especially
will go.
With their new CEO, who has ever since he took over his tenure, has been incredibly aggressive trying to increase their revenue.
Yeah. I'm definitely not trying to say like Hasbro's not that bad. Hasbro is that bad. Hasbro is that greedy. I just think that there's a subsection of collectors that collect more mainstream figures that like they're weird. They're weird about it. That's all.
And I agree with Wilbon here. He makes a good point. It's a case-by-case situation. Alt heads for the Rebel Soldier would be that's a perfect 100%. Example. Like the Rebel Soldier.
You have to have alt heads and hands.
Yeah, for the skin color and alien hands and all that. So, but that's a situation where it makes sense. Yeah, for $7.99, give us a head and two hands.
Or or full $20, but give us a couple different ones. Make one a Rhodian, make one like different aliens or whatever. Like 100%.
I actually think if they Pletho says, what about Shin and Balin fix the legs and heads pack? If they did that, I think people would rage even more. I would hate that. I would not want to pay extra to fix the figure that should have been right initially.
It's like when a video game company releases a video game, but then they won't update it to fix problems. They release a DLC that fixes the problems. Yeah.
Well, the worst thing is with video games, it's like day one DLC. It's like, hold on.
Yeah.
Day one DLC. How are you working on DLC before, like, for the day one drop is crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress. Back to fine editions. That's a good side topic there, though. That's a good side topic.
It kind of flowed naturally, and those are my fine editions. I didn't really pick up a bunch of figures. I did open up. I know I talked about these last time, but I did open up all my Street Fighters, and I really do like these all. And I've got a video coming. Yeah. It's written. I just haven't had time to record it and of course edit it yet, but it's coming. So I know Pletho commented that he was excited about that. So hope it doesn't disappoint.
I really liked your top 10 and review video.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was very nice. It was a good.
I try to make it interesting, and I also, I think it's important to do like a little retrospective. Like, this is what came out. Like, this is a lot of top 10s, especially if they're just on one subject. So like when you see like Dan Larson, he'll do a top 10, but it's like every toy he collected over the year, and I find that impossible. Like, how do you compare like I don't know. What was the figure on my
a Boba Fett figure to
how do you compare a Hammerhead to like a G.I. Joe to like a Mythic Legions figure? Like, I don't even know how to compare those. Like, I don't know what I would like more without just the whole list being just Star Wars or just G.I. Joe or just Mythic Legions. And I feel like as soon as you go, okay, like this is my one figure from Mythic Legions to represent the whole line in this spot, it's no longer a top 10 figure of the whole year. Because if your top 10 figures of the whole year all happen to be from the same line, like, I understand it's not as fun because you want to show off all the different lines you collect, but like it's tough. Where's that line? So I like to keep it with just Star Wars, and I like to do a little retrospective.
Yeah, Wilbon says, I like to look at what brought me the most joy. Yeah, definitely for mixing lines. Yeah. But for my top 10, I specifically do what I think the best figures are and like my favorite ones.
Yeah.
So that's how I tried to do it. But if I tried to do it by like figures I collected, I feel like that's impossible because the SHF Dragon Ball Z figures are by far away superior. And then, of course, the Hot Toys Vader.
Exactly,
like above and beyond everything.
Toys,
so it's like how
Hot Toys Vader to like the Hammerhead or whatever. Like the Hot Toys Vader is going to be number one, but it's also the cost of like 5 of those figures.
Which is crazy because I bought that Hot Toys Darth Vader and it's still in the box. I opened it, made a video on it, messed with it a little bit, and then put it back in the box. It's not on display. So
you're never going to display it. You got to open it, man.
I don't have a space issue because I have plenty of space. It's more of
you got a space right there. I can see one spot for it.
It's not a space issue. It's a spot issue. It needs to have a designated spot, and I haven't fully committed to that yet. So I'm working on it. It'll be displayed soon.
Okay.
It'll be displayed.
I believe in you. I believe in you.
But that's all for fine editions. Let's go ahead and jump into our listener emails. If you want your questions submitted, email us blackseriescantina@gmail.com. Last year we put out a challenge because we had an email segment before. It died. It's been alive for many, many, many episodes in a row now. So it's like a legit thing. So keep sending them. We love them. It fills time on the podcast. I feel like it lets us connect with the audience a little more also. So that's blackseriescantina@gmail.com. But first we have Lane Hickerson, who's a new Patreon VIP member. So special shout out to Lane.
Hey, welcome.
Yep. Last episode, we put out a call for people's top 10. Speaking of top 10, we were just doing that a second ago. So good segue here. Lane said, since y'all asked for it in the last episode, here they are in no particular order. Emperor Palpatine from Revenge of the Sith, IG-12 and Grogu, Prequel Yoda, Captain Brutus, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Droideka, Super Battle Droid, Grand Admiral Thrawn from the Ahsoka show, Jeki Lon, and Captain Enoch is his top 10.
I find it really interesting. Like I can easily give you the top 10 figures of the year. No problem. It's putting them in order that's the hard part. So I respect you for not even bothering. Like I can pick 10 figures in a year, no problem. No problem at all. But the order is always the hardest part.
The order is tough because I flip-flopped on Ki-Adi-Mundi and the prequel Yoda for probably like 6 days in a row, trying to come up with the list. And it's I feel like every single day it's just a different feeling. Like, oh, I love Ki-Adi better because he's got the ball joint wrist, and I feel like all the sculpting and detail is crazy. But then it's like, oh, but the prequel Yoda, he's got the chair and he got the alt head, and just a fabulous figure. So that specific day, I was feeling the prequel Yoda because of the chair and the alt head, because the angry face on it's peak.
That's my favorite.
Honestly,
if you can have an accessory of the year, I think that angry face Yoda head would be my accessory of the year.
Right. Look at that. I have it on my desk.
It's so perfect. And it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where a head can completely change a figure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like having a different head sculpt completely changes that figure from being just happy-go-lucky little half-smiley Yoda to like, I'm about to decapitate this clone trooper Yoda.
Yeah, if that prequel Yoda were still like the normal face Yoda with a chair, that's still top 10 for me, but it's not number 3.
No,
where I think I put it at 3.
Same. The head pushes it up so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it would have been probably 7, 8 maybe without that head. But with that head, it just sets it apart for sure. Next email, same person, Lane. Thanks for shooting us an email. He says, hey guys, I've been thinking about the line being more balanced in recent years, especially last year. When do you think we will start seeing sequel era figures added to that balance? I know it's the 10th year anniversary of The Force Awakens this year, but I feel they're going to hit Revenge of the Sith anniversary harder. I don't think the sequels are going to be in play that much. I know we're probably getting some Force Awakens figures this year, but other than that, I think it's going to be very, very few and far between. And I think anything close to the sequels will probably have to be those Rey movies. And apparently recently, rumors in Star Wars, or news, I guess, that Rey movie directed by that woman who does like the documentaries or whatever, I forget her name, and I don't want to butcher her name on the podcast. Apparently, it's on its third writer now, so that's probably going to be on the chopping block pretty soon.
Yeah, that's never a good sign
with Lucasfilm. So
whenever you see a movie that's like rotating writers and directors, and like that's never a good sign.
Yeah, and especially with Lucasfilm's recent history of slashing, for like stuff like early in production or planning process. So I honestly don't think we'll get much sequel balance. Maybe they'll do a Crate Luke, and a new Kylo Ren, and I think we'll definitely get a couple Force Awakens thing this year. 2 or 3 max.
I think we'll probably get like a Rey. Like if they redo, I think they could redo that one figure, the first Rey that we got with like the BB-8, and
I'll be happy if they do the new Rey and. Give me a new Kylo, too. I love Kylo from Force Awakens.
A Rey and a Kylo would be really nice.
Me a new
and that could be all they give us, and I think that would be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Lane, thanks for the question. We have another top 10 from Michael Cooper. Hey, guys, I look forward to each episode. Keep up the great work. I can listen to Star Wars Toy Talk and talk about Star Wars toys forever. Here's my 2024 top 10. I may have shared this in the comments of a live stream, but I was pretty baked.
It's fair.
I respect that. I respect
it, yeah.
I'm going to go from 10 to 1. He has it listed from 1 to 10, so I'm going to go in reverse order. Darth Maul, Super Battle Droid, Droidica, Deidre, Brutus, Darth Sidious, Hammerhead, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Mando, and Prequel Yoda is number 1. So that was 10 to 1. And he says, keep up the great work. You guys are a lot of fun to listen to. That's a good list. I think Droidica and SBD are a little low for me. They're 8 and 9. But I respect it. It's personal opinion. I respect it. I think putting Deidre above the SBD, that's tough for me because Deidre is...
It's his list, man.
I get it.
It's his list. I
got to judge the lists a little bit. I got to judge the list a little bit. Fair. All right, next email. This is from Sebastian, Carillion Collectibles on Instagram. So go give Sebastian a follow. These are featured on my Instagram, but wanted to send them along. We've got another top 10 here. Honorable mention, Joris Sabayoth, number 10.
Good pronunciation. Yeah.
Right? I've been learning from you and all the other, I feel like I'm one of the only people of our friend groups that's not really into the whole, what is it even?
The EU stuff.
What's this? Is it Shadows of the Empire? What?
No, well, that's Joris Sabayoth is from the Thrawn trilogy.
The Thrawn trilogy, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Heir to the Empire. Yeah. All right. Well, see, that just proves my point. I'm like one of the only ones that wasn't too into those, so I haven't. But I've been paying attention. Last episode, I learned how to pronounce Shizor. This episode,
true, and you got it this time too.
Joris Sabayoth. Yeah. Sebastian says honorable mention Joris Sabayoth, and then from 10 to 1, Momon Aiden, Stap, Darth Sidious, Yoda, Thrawn, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Princess Leia. I'm guessing. He must have got the 2025 version in 2024. Yeah. Because I don't think there was...
It was on my list, too.
Yeah, yours was up there. So Princess Leia, Bloodfin with Darth Maul, Super Battle Droid, and Droidica was number 1. Excellent list. That's an excellent list. I already know...
I kind of agree with Wilbon here. He says, read Heir to the Empire. It's kind of bad, but fun. I'm currently rereading those. I'm almost done with the last book, The Last Command. They're not good books. I'm just going to say it. Like, all respect out to Timothy Zahn. They're really not good books, but they are fun. I will say that, yeah.
Next email from RJ Bresh. We have another top 10. 10 is Neil. So this list...
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this list has got some surprises in there. So from 10 to 1. Neil, Osha, May... Pirate Captain Brutus, the Pit Droids, Captain Enoch, Hammerhead, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Droidica. Honorable mention is IG-12, and Super Battle Droid is number 1. So
I like seeing a list. I like seeing a list that's not the same as everyone else's.
That is true.
Sometimes I feel like I'm guilty of this too. Like I know this figure has to be on the list somewhere because if I don't do it, everyone's going to be mad at me. Like it's sort of like an obligatory ranking. So it's fun just when someone like steps off, like chooses something that a lot of people haven't, and I like that.
Yeah. I do want to read. He put a bunch of descriptions in here for his reasons, so I'm gonna read the ones for Neil, Osha, and May. He says
Sure.
I love the head sculpting accessories that came with this guy. I absolutely love the character in the show, and that helps. And that also helps. So that was for Neil. For OSHA, he said, Hasbro came hard with the Acolyte figures. You can say what you want about the show. I liked it. The figures for it are really good. And then for May, he put, you can bundle OSHA and May together. I like May's cloak and face mask a little more than OSHA's accessories. It's fair.
Honestly, those are two great figures. I completely agree with him. I wouldn't have put them on. I mean, obviously, I didn't put them on my list, but like I completely understand why someone would, because they are good figures for sure.
Yeah. That's how also I felt about Jackie Lon. Like I feel like a lot of people didn't pick those figures up, but Jackie, like the posability is really, really nice with Jackie.
They're great figures, exactly. Like it's not a character popularity contest. It's a figure list.
Sorry, I'm dying cracking up. I'm just thinking in my head. At the same time, I said the posability is great. I pulled it up in the most vanilla pose possible.
That is,
she's been sitting on my desk.
She's just like straight armed, straight legged. The posability is great.
I didn't realize it until I put it after
the most boring vanilla pose I've ever seen.
Look, she's literally just sitting on my desk. Like I've had her in good poses before. All right. Anyways, so RJ, thanks for the email. Next question. This is from Joby1 Kenobi. What's good, Black Series Cantina? Joby1 here, longtime listener and first time caller. So there's a long running rumor that Tupac Shakur was one of the actors in mind for Mace Windu and George Lucas was writing.
True.
Yep. Or in early storyboards for the prequel trilogy. True or not?
It's true. That's a rumor.
It is true.
Yeah.
But also, I remember seeing a headline where it said one of the Death Row Records people said Tupac told him he like auditioned in front of George for it, or like script read. So, I mean, there's legitimacy there. I think
that would have been cool. NSYNC was going to be an Attack of the Clones, like to the point where they actually filmed scenes. And I remember that being news. And like thinking like, this is awful. I can't believe they're going to put NSYNC in my Star Wars. Like I was so mad. I was that quintessential basement dwelling, angry Star Wars nerd in that moment. 100%.
Also, I feel like sometimes it could be a little distracting. And NSYNC,
it would have probably been distracting in the movie. Yeah. We're like it takes you out of the movie. Like, cause you're like, oh, there's NSYNC. All right. Yeah.
But Joby One goes on to say, since we never got to experience that, besides Mace, which Jedi or Sith from any era do you think would have the sickest bars? Asking for a friend who thinks he's a rapping Jedi. Much love, and may the Force be with you both. On a side note, Iman Esfandi is a rapper as well, which is pretty awesome. Jedi or Sith that would be good rappers? Not Ki-Adi Mundi.
You know what? That'd be funny though.
You know what? What pops to my mind is the Jedi rap with Yoda and Luke. You know what I'm talking about? The one that was on YouTube.
Yeah, knock him out
20 years ago.
Luke, knock him out.
Yeah, that one.
It's not the east or the west side. No, it's not.
It is not the north or the south side.
No, it is not.
You are correct. It is so good.
You are correct. Yeah.
That one is like
why'd you slice off my hand?
That one's so good. So I gotta throw Yoda in there. Maybe he could do some rhyme. He does some rhyming. You know,
he did some rhyming. Yeah.
But also, I guess like I have Yord sitting on my desk, and I feel like he's got the hair.
What? 100%.
He's got the hairstyle.
It's somebody who looks like they could rap, at the risk of stereotyping. Based on the color of his skin.
Well, you know, I'm just gonna go with. They gave him the Miles Morales hair. You know, like the dreads that come up top. So, and he does music. Miles Morales does music, right?
I could see it being surprising because he doesn't come off that way. Like his personality isn't that way in the show, where he's a lot more like straight edge kind of thing. And it'd be funny if he did have this like rap battle side to him, where he like at night after all the Jedi have gone to bed, he goes out on a Coruscant into like the underground and competes in like rap battles.
You know who would be the worst one? That dweeb from The Acolyte. That white,
what is it, mob or whatever?
Something. Maul?
Forget his
no, not Maul. It was like
it starts with an M. I know it starts with an M. I can't remember his name.
Maybe he would actually be kind of like surprisingly good, though. You know,
and that's the problem. Sometimes people can surprise you. Mog. That's it. Yeah. Thank you, Pletho. Mog. I knew it started with
quite literally the lamest Jedi they could come up with is that guy right there.
Well, you don't know. Maybe like in their own language, maybe any Wookiee can rap real good, but like you just wouldn't know it.
Honestly, yeah.
Maybe Chewbacca's always rapping.
Was it Gunji? What's his name? Gunji?
Oh, Gunji for sure. Gunji for sure is winning a freestyling.
So thanks for the question. That was pretty entertaining.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna give a shout out to Joby Wan because he's a cool guy. Like we've chatted a couple of times. Super nice guy. Go follow him on YouTube. It's like jo3.b.1, I think.
Yeah.
Is that how? Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for the emails. Keep the email segment alive. blackseriescantina@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought of these reveals, and that we're going to talk about a little later on. But yeah, so let's jump into. We got some news. Some pretty big news and rumors.
Some big news, big rumors.
So, friend of the show, Lukeness Monster, has been on the podcast twice.
I feel like we should have had him on. We should have had him on.
Honestly, yeah, we should have had Lukeness on. That's my bad. I was trying to book somebody else. It hasn't quite worked out yet.
Yeah.
Maybe we can squeeze Lukeness on next episode. I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like next episode, I want to talk about all this stuff twice.
Yeah, you got a point. So sorry, Lukeness, you missed your circuit. Maybe next year. So Lukeness Monster made a YouTube video saying that an anonymous burner account sent him a whole bunch of leaks, and we're going to go over them here on the podcast in case you haven't heard of them. In case you have heard of them, stick around because you'll get our thoughts, and then also minor spoilers for characters in the Mando and Grogu movie coming up.
Yeah, I don't know how you'll feel if like you're really worried about not being spoiled on this, because at this point we don't know how much they're going to reveal in like trailers and stuff. So if you don't want to get spoiled, I don't know, maybe skip ahead like a half hour.
I'll skip ahead a little bit. Yeah. At least like for the spoilers, like 10 minutes maybe, because we probably won't spend too long. Yeah, because
we'll front load the spoilers and then, Yeah.
So Lukeness said that the claim says that these came directly from someone who works at Hasbro, and another thing that Lukeness said legitimizes this is that he was told by this person they're making a Rory McCann Balin Skull figure for season 2 of Ahsoka, and that he was told that before the actual Entertainment Weekly and all these legit news sources revealed that Rory McCann is replacing Ray Stevenson in Ahsoka season 2. So that could legitimize this list. You never know. But from the Mando and Grogu movie, these are the figures that have made Lukeness's list from this person. The main villain is supposed to be Embo, and he's going to, I guess, his space dog as well. I don't know if that's going to be a separate figure or packed with Embo. Embo, we're definitely going to get, but I don't see the Black Series getting the space dog. I feel like that would be more of a TVC pack, like Embo and in those like little boxes they do. They had the Sabine with the
I can see them doing a deluxe pack with it, but you're not wrong. That is something that they would do on TVC and not do in Black Series. You're not wrong. Yeah.
So that's just one thing I'm questionable of. We'll definitely get the Embo. Yeah. But the space dog is a little questionable.
I wonder how close, because obviously this is going to be from the movie. I wonder how close that's going to look to Clone Wars, and if that would open them up to do a Clone Wars version of Embo, because obviously I'm going to get the Mando and Grogu movie version, but I really want a Clone Wars version. Like that's the version I really want. And I just can't imagine him just wearing the same clothes for 10, 15 years or whatever it's been. I guess it's been closer to 20 years, because
probably quite a bit.
Oh, because we're coming from the Clone Wars.
So 19 years to A New Hope. Well, that's from Revenge of the Sith, actually. So you got to add on a couple years.
So it's like 22 years.
Yeah.
And then another, let's say, because the Mando starts 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
So probably
and there's
10 years for 5 years in the OT, right?
There's 3 years in between the first 2 movies and a year in between the second 2 movies. So that's 4 years there, plus another 5. But then I feel like there's another couple years in between the Mando seasons, probably to where the movie takes place. So we're talking like 30 years in between the Clone Wars and here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I imagine he'll be dressed similarly. Like, I don't think they'll do the Rothgar Dang thing, from the
he just looks completely different. Yeah.
Maybe they'll go that route, but you never know.
Yeah,
but that would be cool. I'm definitely down for an Embo figure either way with Clone Wars live action version. I know you've been wanting Embo for a long time.
Oh, I love Embo. I love that hat, man. I love that hat.
Yeah. And then, of course, Mando and Grogu from the movie.
They have to.
Yeah, that's a given.
If it's different, in some way, I'll get them. But like, man, I love Star Wars and I like Mando and Grogu. But my shelf has enough Mandos and Grogus. It's getting real tough to justify it.
Yeah, I can't see myself buying another Mando. I'm really happy with the Glavis Ringworld Mandalorian for Black Series figure. I think I have a perfect amount of Grogus, more than I need probably.
Easily.
So I think that's going to be mostly casual bait, getting a Mando and Grogu out
probably.
there.
Yeah.
So,
and that is something that should probably be evergreen, like a Darth Vader and a Stormtrooper. Because
this day and age, for sure.
Yeah. It's so popular with like the younger kids and like the general public and stuff. Like, I get that.
Yep. And let's put a pin in that. Remind me after we talk about this, because I do want to talk about the A-list. So remind me about A-list when we're done with the list. From Mando and Grogu movie, Zeb Aurelios, we're getting a figure of them, which I'm a fan of because I was hoping we'd get one after he popped in. Was it Mando season 2?
Yeah.
Right?
You think he'll be wearing that flight suit? Because that flight suit's a good look. I like that flight suit.
Well, I don't know if you've seen the leaked trailer.
Yeah, I have.
That's what he's wearing.
He's wearing, isn't it? Yeah, that's what he's wearing. Yeah.
So that's got to be what the figure.
That doesn't mean that's the only thing he'll wear, but he's a CGI character, so it probably is.
Yeah, who knows how much he'll change throughout the movie.
Right.
And then this one's interesting. Snowtrooper Commander from the Mando and Grogu movie. And in the leaked trailer, he is fighting snowtroopers.
Yep.
So that seems pretty legit. And we don't have a Snowtrooper Commander.
Oh, I'm really hoping that means that we're getting... Yeah, I was going to say, I hope that means we're getting a brand new snowtrooper, like new construction. And I hope that leads to getting reissues of those for Empire Strikes Back, just like regular snowtroopers. Because
100%.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think I've put that on my list I did a list of like top 10 figures we need redos of or whatever. And snowtrooper was on there because like, they're bad. Like they're just not posable. They look good, but they don't move at all. Like they're just basically statues that can barely hold their blasters.
Yeah, my Sand Trooper, Jesus Christ. My Snowtrooper.
That's the opposite.
My Snowtrooper is very stiff. Like the legs and arms are so stiff on that figure. And then we got some really crazy ones from the Mando and Grogu movie. Rada the Hutt. And because apparently Rhoda the Hutt, he's apparently going to be in the Mando and Grogu movie.
Played by Jeremy Allen White from The Bear, which is wild because, like, first of all, he's a good looking dude. And, like, so he's just voicing it.
He'll probably
what does that even mean? Well, what does that mean? Because, like, Hutt, does he not speak Huttese? Or are they getting an actor this prominent? Like, He's won Golden Globes and Emmys for his portrayal in The Bear. And are they going to just have him just unrecognizable? Like, what's going on there?
I guess so. That? Maybe, what's the Hutt that spoke English in Clone Wars?
Oh, Zero the Hutt.
Zero,
So is it going to be like that where he could speak... He can speak or is basic, I guess is what they call it. Yeah.
I never liked the Hutt speaking basic English. You know, I never liked it. I was never a fan.
For me, it's not like they can't. It's like they don't feel the need to because they're so important. Because like Hutts are like just, you know, they're the biggest or whatever. So they just don't. They feel like it's beneath them to speak basic.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I understand that maybe they could, but at the same time, I like Star Wars where the aliens, it makes them feel like aliens. You know.
Sure.
You know, that people can translate what they're saying. And, you know, but then you got this like Hutts. Whenever you're watching Zero the Hutt speak English, it just feels like you're watching a cartoon when you're watching.
Well, you are.
Like that. I know, but at the same time,
you are
like,
watching a cartoon.
it stands out too much.
Sure.
And I was never a fan of that, you know, personally.
Well, it's something that might work in a cartoon, but wouldn't necessarily work maybe in like a live action movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then the list has the Hutt twins from the Book of Boba Fett, which that's a big questionable one for me. I don't think we're going to get 2 giant Hutts in the Black Series. Maybe
like
one of them.
$100 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But why would you do one and not the other? I feel like they're kind of a package deal.
Yeah. And I don't see.
Weird. Yeah.
I honestly just don't see the need for them, like to even make them. Maybe you get a new Hutt body or something. That would be cool, but I just don't see releasing both of them.
I could see them doing that in Vintage Collection. I don't know about Black Series.
Yeah. Black Series seems too ambitious for that.
I agree.
Like, they got to know, like, the deluxes don't sell well as it is. You know, to drop 2 Hutts while you're dropping a Road of the Hutt. You know?
Yeah, 3 Hutts in a year? Or like 2
3
years?
Hutts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one
Pizza the Hutt.
Yeah, that one's the biggest questionable one by far. And then some of these do line up with the Yak Face list. From Revenge of the Sith, this person told Luke that we're getting Anakin and Obi-Wan, which Yak Face has already confirmed in the Galaxy packaging. But then he also
that basically on our podcast.
On our podcast, yeah.
A year ago.
Cantina,
that's right.
Episode 65, I think. And then he said an unnamed Celebration exclusives, but the assumption is that there's going to be an Anakin and Obi-Wan on Revenge of the Sith card back, and then the mainline releases and the Galaxy packaging will come after.
Of course there is.
Which that's been my dream for literal years. I will finally shut up whenever it happens. I probably 100,000 times I've said I wanted the Anakin on the card back. Like, yes, I want the new Anakin, but I want the Anakin.
It's specifically on my card back.
Yeah, I need this right here. One of these bad boys. You know, just I need it with this flame and that helmet behind it. Anakin and Obi-Wan will be pretty sweet. And then he also says Padme, the pregnant version from Mustafar. And I actually think that makes a lot of sense because I've always wanted
he didn't
that
think
version
it did make sense. But that's the version of Padme that came out when I think it came out like in like the first wave of figures, like on opening night at Midnight Madness or whatever. Yeah. Like you could go buy that. I remember specifically a lady asking me if I saw Padme and rummaging through one of those blue plastic kiddie pools full of Revenge of the Sith figures right there. Exactly. Yep. Looking for one for some random lady I didn't know because like I was down there anyway, and that was definitely a staple.
Yep. So I mean, I think that's probably Lucas didn't think it made sense, but for me, I think that's from Revenge of the Sith. I mean, I've always kind of wanted that version of Padme in the Black Series. For sure. Because you need it to complete the Mustafar scene, you know, in my opinion. So, like, it's not just Obi-Wan and Anakin on Mustafar. It's Padme, C-3PO, R2's there.
Yep.
You need the whole gang.
Yep.
And then the 327th Star Corps clone, which Yakface also confirmed this, so that's another one that matches up. Apparently, a Commander Bly on the updated body and a Commander Neo will be revealed. And this is all for the Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary. But that doesn't mean they're all going to be on the card. They're just going to be Galaxy packaging, but released for the anniversary. And then for Bad Batch, Imperial Clone Commando, that's the one with the gray stripe, and then Imperial Commander Cody, which I'm probably down for both of those, if I'm being honest.
I mean, it makes sense to do an Imperial Cody, especially on that new body, since we know we're getting one on the new body. Like,
yeah, actually, I don't know about the Clone Commando right off the bat. I have 2 of the white ones, so I don't know how badly I need one with a gray stripe, but definitely the Imperial Commander Cody. I think that one would be pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And then apparently this source is saying that Lucasfilm is working on a new clone animated show, which would make sense to follow up the Bad Batch. And from that show, they're making more clones from the show, of course, but specifically they mentioned a Commander Wolf on the new body, which I would 100% upgrade the Commander Wolf that we currently have on that one. And then I guess it would also show how Rex and Gregor and Wolf meet up for Rebels.
I definitely want to see that, because like that's a big jump to just having a bunch of like old clones in a walker on like a random planet. Like, how'd they all get there?
Yeah, we got to see the backstory to that for sure.
Yeah.
And then from the actual Clone Wars, this one matches up with the Ackface's rumor list. It's the Jedi Temple Guard, because he said it is a lightsaber wielding character.
Yep.
So Jedi Temple Guard's pretty cool. And then Pong Krell, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when they announce it. I'm not getting my hopes up.
Yeah, I think Yakface said something about this being TVC, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
That would check out. That would check out for me if it was TVC and not Black Series. I just don't think they'll do that for me.
But I would love it if they did. Pong Krell.
I would. I will
way up there. Yeah.
Again, I'm not getting my hopes up because I want to protect my feelings and my heart. Because
absolutely, yes,
yeah. I definitely want it.
This source is saying Force Awakens 10th anniversary. Rey, we're getting a new Rey, and then he says, and thinks there will be a few more. So fingers crossed we get the new Rey, new Kylo. We definitely need a new Poe Dameron, because
we also need
the
new
curly
Finn.
one.
We need new Poe, new Finn. Yeah.
So if we can just get the main cast, I'll be happy, because we're not getting any background or anything extra from those movies. So just the main cast to update the shelf would be pretty nice. I'd honestly just be happy, like, because I know I don't expect a lot. Just give me the Rey and Kylo, and I'll be satisfied. And then apparently we're getting an Ahsoka Season 2 full wave. This will include a Clone Wars flashback Ahsoka from like the earlier season look, not the Siege of Mandalore look. And then Season 2 Baylan Skoll, Rory McCann. Apparently, like I said before, he was told this a couple weeks prior to that being revealed by like Entertainment Weekly and all those Hollywood Insider, whatever those magazines
I also assume
sources are.
I assume that means that'll include like the Ezra Bridger, because we've seen, like, we know Ezra's coming. We know like the zombie death trooper is coming. So I wonder if these will be part of that Season 2 wave, or if there's going to be a different Ahsoka wave and then also a Season 2 wave.
Like a full wave.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting thought there. And then I know you'll be a big fan of this from Rebels. Agent Callus and Blind Kanan, which these have also are supported by Yakface himself. So it's pretty likely that we're getting them, which is pretty exciting, because I've always wanted Agent Callus. I know you have. And then Blind Kanan, I feel like that's been a hole in the Rebels shelf for so long.
For sure. Because he's blind for half the series. Like,
and especially since we have the Ezra from those seasons.
For sure.
They're really good with the green saber and all that.
Well,
and then he did go... Go ahead.
Well, we need a Sabine then to go with it, because like I feel like she's the other character that really changes her look a lot.
Yeah, and the character who doesn't change her look at all. Apparently, the list says a Season 4 Hera.
I don't even know what that means, unless they're putting it in a pilot outfit, because she did. Like, she got captured because she was piloting, and then that's what led to like Kanan in Season 4.
Yeah.
I was going to say it, spoiler, he dies. He dies.
And I'm kind of curious if maybe this was a misinterpretation, not by Lucas, but maybe by the leaker or the source.
The leaker, yeah.
But maybe like this is a season 2 Ahsoka Hera that with a change of look a little bit, and then the person thought it was, maybe like a season 4 Hera from Rebels.
Could be.
So I mean, that could be. I feel like that's plausible. But definitely out of this list, the 2 biggest questions are the Hutt twins and the season 4 Hera.
Yeah.
And then everything
What's
else.
Your favorite? What's your favorite that's not Anakin and Obi-Wan? Because I know Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Why do you have to put that disclaimer there?
Because that's the easy one. Like, what do you care about that's not those? Yeah.
My favorite one that's not Anakin and Obi-Wan, without saying Pong Krell, because I don't really think that one will happen. Yeah. I'm going to have to say, honestly, it's between Embo, pregnant Padme, and the season 2 Balin skull, because we need an upgrade on the Balin skull really, really bad. So
sure, that's true. Yeah.
I'm leaning towards Embo, though.
I think Embo is definitely my favorite from here, for sure.
But also, like, Agent Callus and Blind Kanan, like, this whole list is really good. So, yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Which you say? I know Embo is definitely your favorite. Embo and Pong Krell for sure.
Oh man, Embo is like right there under Pong Krell. Like if they do Pong Krell before Embo, like Embo will default become my number 1, because right now obviously Pong Krell is my number 1, and he has been for a while.
Yep. But so that was the Luke Ness Monster list. You can go on Luke Ness Monster's YouTube channel and then watch it from just directly out of his mouth and hear what he has to say about the story.
Is it weird that he does like on face videos now? Like I don't watch his videos a lot, but I forgot that he did a face reveal, and I was like, oh, he's just on the video. Like it is definitely different, from whenever he first started. So yeah.
Luckily but I've also met him at ICC-Con, I think.
Sure. Yeah, same.
Twice now. Yeah. I can't remember the exact amount, and Luke Ness is a great guy. He's a friend of the show. We'll have him on again
really
at some
nice
point.
Guy.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely have him on this year.
So yeah, before we jump into the next leak that we have, I kind of wanted to talk about, you mentioned evergreen figures that should always be in a line. I actually meant to talk about this on our first podcast following Christmas, which are our holiday break, which I might have. I don't remember if I did, but I actually think A-list is a great thing for the Black Series, and specifically because my Target that's 15 minutes away that I frequent, that Target had like 6 Darth Vaders and 7 or 8 of the A-list Mandalorians. I think it dwindled down to like 6 maybe. For the longest time, it seemed like all summer, all fall, they were just there every day. I would see General Lando's and the A-list Mando and A-list Vader for all year, what felt like. But then now, literally after Christmas season, there's 1 Darth Vader and 2 Mandos. And it's like, I feel like that's what it's for. It's for people who gift. It's casual bait.
Exactly.
It makes me happy that there's some kid out there opening their Christmas and they have a Darth Vader toy or a Mandalorian toy. That just makes me feel good.
So I've seen a lot of people, complain about them peg warming, but like they're designed to. That's why they exist. Yeah. Hasbro did not make A-list for like people like us who already have these figures and have had them for a long time. They are for newer people in the line or casuals. Like they're intended to be the ones you can easily go find on the shelves. They're intended to be peg warmers.
Yep. And if you're a 3D printer like me and you just, I need another New Hope Darth Vader. I need another Mando.
Exactly.
It's right there.
It sucks when like a popular character like that is hard to get, because like you could always use a Darth Vader for something.
Yep.
And having to go pay aftermarket prices because they're impossible to find or whatever. I have nothing but love for A-list. I think it's perfect. It's not for me, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm. And A-list is so much better than Archive because they only do for the first A-list wave. They did 2 figures.
Yep.
You know, it's just. Well, what was the
Paz Vizsla?
Oh yeah, that did Paz. Well, that one's stupid. I'm not even gonna think of it.
That's fair. Yeah.
Mando and Darth Vader make total sense. You know, just to be on the shelf, and then around Christmas time, you know, a kid is able to open up a Darth Vader or Mandalorian toy, which that makes me feel good. I'm happy that that's still a thing out there. So now, whenever I go
down there, like, what other figure should they A-list? Stormtrooper. Right?
On Yak Face's rumor list, there's going to be 2 more A-lists. Honestly, I mean, I would go a Luke Skywalker.
For sure.
Main pick character. A Luke Skywalker, put him in a hat, pull him out. That Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan, Anakin. Do Darth Vader again. Do Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader again. I don't care. You know, just a main character. I mean, maybe like Luke Skywalker and a
I think Luke's a good one. I think, right? Luke's a good one. Yeah, because, like, again, main character. Like
Boba Fett.
Like the classic Boba Fett.
Slave Leia. I mean, come on now. A-list Slave Leia. Let's go. Which, that's definitely not going to happen, but... Yeah, A-list. I think it's a good thing for the line. So
I agree.
Excited to see that continue this year, and we'll see what 2 are next. It better not be like lame 2. Like
it's General Lando.
General Lando A-list. You got to get him out.
He's been A-list the whole time. Those aren't egg warming. They keep shipping new ones.
A-list General Lando. Yeah, Return of the Jedi Boba Fett would be really good.
Honestly, I think Return of the Jedi, maybe do it without the accessories. Just do
there you go, just the body.
The backpack, the gun, the blaster. Yeah. Like, if they made a basic A-list Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, I think it'd be perfect. Because, again, he's a popular character. Like, it'd be good to get him in people's collections without having to drop $30.
I think the new R2 also would be a good A-list.
Perfect. Absolutely.
But all right, so whenever you brought up the Evergreen, I wanted to definitely bring it up. That's been on my mind lately.
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
But now, moving on, we have a huge leak in the Black Series. Probably, I don't know, this is at least a top 5 leak that we've had. This is huge. This is like a major
big
leak.
Leak. Yeah, it's a pretty big leak.
Like, of all the leaks, what tops a Darth Sidious and Mace Windu head sculpts that look like they're fighting each other? I'm feeling a 2-pack, Mike. I'm feeling a multi-pack here.
This year is ripe for a versus pack between these 2 characters. It was you know, the pre-order 66, it was the highlight of the movie. Like, obviously, Anakin versus Vader, Yoda versus Sidious, but, like, man,
Anakin
starting
versus Vader.
off, yeah, that's what I meant.
The internal battle of Anakin Skywalker. Hey, we're getting deep here. I love it.
Starting off, like that fight between Mace and Palpatine and Sidious, it's like iconic. It was a good fight.
It goes hard.
So it's the perfect year to do something like this, and that's a good set.
Yeah, I just love the aggressive facial expressions on both of them. Like, you can just see, I can see Mace Windu saying, "Don't listen to him, Anakin," like as he's fighting off the lightning. You know, Darth Sidious screaming, he's, unlimited power or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever he yells. So, and maybe, I know I said this on TikTok, and somebody put in the comments, bro's trying anything he can to get a new Anakin, but maybe a 3-pack, maybe throw an Anakin in there, make it a 3-pack.
I mean, he could. He's in that scene. It's like the birth of Darth Vader or whatever. Like,
yeah, they could definitely do it. But I think the biggest thing with this multi-pack, what if they throw in a regular Chancellor Palpatine head too from, before he gets all deformed, right? Talk about maybe one of the best multi-packs in the Black Series if we have that alt head.
Well, to be fair, 90% of the fight, he doesn't look like that. He doesn't look like that until the very end of the fight.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if they're actually going to fight, he shouldn't have that face.
That's a really good point. He has the normal face longer, especially during the fight.
For like 90% of the fight.
Yeah. So hopefully,
making those weird. I would want him to have the face where he's like. He does that weird mouth thing where it's like
he's like, oh yeah. He's like groaning for.
He's just like weird. Like I love that freeze frame people do on his face. Or just I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like someone fed him a sour lemon and then punched him in like the gut or something. I don't even know.
It's like Dragon Ball Z when you punch him in the gut. They just make those insane faces.
Yeah. Just that lip curl is so weird. Like, oh man, Ian McDermott was like just wilding during that scene. Like,
he was in his bag for sure.
We want you to go ham.
Yeah, he was in his bag. But yeah, I'm really excited for this. I kind of want to say, like, of course, we don't necessarily like getting everything leaked.
No.
Knowing 90% of what's coming out in the Black Series.
Yeah. It takes the fun out. It takes the sales, the wind out of the team sales, like knowing that people have seen this before. It makes the reveals less special. I mean, I'm not going to ignore them. I'm not going to not talk about them because that's the nature of our show. Like we have to
it's what we do,
in the know. I cannot ignore this stuff. But I would prefer it if they didn't exist. I'm going to be honest.
But also, I kind of want to see a normal Chancellor Palpatine head leaked so we know it's like maybe in the pack. Because if it's not leaked, we might be cooked. It's not looking good if it's not leaked.
I mean, eventually they'll make one. They got to. We got to have a normal ass looking Palpatine.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put it past him to release the normal Palpatine as a single figure and then just have this one in the multi-pack.
Well, kind of like what they did with the Cad Bane pack, where the one in the 2-pack is the same as the regular release, but he has a different face.
Yep. Yeah, that definitely could happen. So I think this is a cool multi-pack, though. I'm a fan of it. Then maybe they'll do another one where it's, this also could be, I know this is a long shot. I'm just spitballing here, but what if we got a Yoda Insidious and then this was like a Mace and Anakin or something? I don't see that happening, but I mean, it could. Anything is really possible. So you never really know. But would you say that's the biggest leak we've gotten right here?
I don't know. I don't know if it's the big. It's a big one, but I think it's not like the most surprising leak.
I guess because Savage Opress was leaked.
I think Savage Opress was a big one. I think a lot of like the ones that I just didn't expect, like Marin or Ronin. I think Ronin's probably the most surprising leak that we've had. Honestly,
you're right.
Because I would have never in a million years would have guessed. 2 years. 3 years after Visions came out, we'd be getting figures from it,
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to go with Savage because I feel like
that's fair.
It was always kind of likely they made him, but it's also sort of a background character in between background. It's like a C-list character of the show.
He's not a background character. He's like the main bad guy for whole arcs of the show.
But
he's like Darth
I feel like he's
sidekick.
Exactly, sidekick, B character.
Sidekick is what he is.
Character.
Yes, yeah.
But so you never know in the Black Series how many background characters can get, especially from a show so old. But I feel like that leak's probably.
He's not a background character though.
Not a background character,
he's
but
not a background character.
B character.
Hammerhead is a background character, but yes.
Okay. There's tiers to background. I'll say there's tiers.
No. He's That's a different classification. Tier. He's not a background. He's literally in the foreground. He has lines. He has plot points. he has.
Background is the wrong word.
Character journeys for him. Yeah.
Background is the wrong word. B-list character.
B-list character is fine. Yes, sure. Because he's a character I would argue most casual Star Wars fans probably don't know.
That's fair. But with this being said, we have reveals to talk about.
Yes, we do.
So the stream, we were given a little whisper of the wind beforehand that it was going to be quality over quantity. So going into it, And coming out of it, I wasn't disappointed that there was only 2.
I was still disappointed knowing that, honestly, because I don't know if it's quality over quantity.
That's a fair point. That's a very fair point. But we're going to jump into the reveals here on Black Series Cantina. Starting with Captain Rex from the Ahsoka show, live action version. I got to say, Mike, this turned out better than I thought. I thought the proportions were going to be really weird, but I think it looks really good.
So I'm going to be honest. The first part of me thought it didn't look skinny enough. Like it looked too fat, because I'm used to seeing Phase 1 Captain Rex from the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Where especially in like season 1 of Clone Wars, when he's wearing that, like they made them exaggeratedly pretty skinny.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what he would look like if they put him in a movie. So I'm very okay with it. Love it.
You want him to have that commando droid waist where it like gets real thin?
For sure, yeah. And like the helmet's like too fat or whatever for the show. But yeah, no, I think it's great. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it looks really good. The helmet, it's not a chinner. It's a Phase 1 helmet. We get the full coverage of the chin, which is really nice. And what do you think about the comma? Do you prefer the soft goods or the plastic comma?
I actually prefer the plastic commas. I think obviously soft goods gives you more mobility in use, but I feel like sometimes they just feel too flimsy and light.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas visually it looks better on here like this.
Yeah, because I feel like this is how I'm going to have him posed on the shelf. Either the pose in the middle or the pose on the left right here, which is him holding the blasters kind of up or him holding the helmet. That's how he's going to go on the shelf, because I don't have a 3D print ready for Rex or anything. So I like the plastic look of the comma, because getting in the way of articulation isn't the biggest deal for me. I'm not a toy photographer by any means. So
you know what I really love about
sleeker.
This? He's got 2 trigger fingers.
Yes. Yes.
Finally.
Yeah, we no longer have to have Rex holding just the handle of the left.
Just the handle.
Which makes it look so awkward on figures like that. It really
does, yeah.
But you know what does have a trigger finger that shouldn't?
Oh, yeah. You want to just
the new Anakin Skywalker? Look at those trigger fingers.
It's not a trigger finger; it's a force choke finger.
We got to reach for that now. But on both hands, force choking on both hands.
He's force choking like this. He's just pew 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 force choke. That's how it works. That's canon.
So we got 2 reveals: Rex and Anakin Skywalker. What is this pose here they're doing on the left? Is he stretching?
Well,
is this like a Obi-Wan's got me in trouble again pose? What's going on here?
So I don't know. I've said this before, and you can always tell when Matt Shooting the Galaxy is doing the photography, and you can tell when he's not. And while I don't think this is as dumb as they usually are, I definitely don't think he did these.
Yeah, these 2 are pretty good. These
two are fine. But but you want to talk about the elephant in the room?
Yeah, shoot.
I mean, he's got those old legs. But the thing is, we knew that based on the.
Mike, are you dying? I think your internet. Is it me or is it you? One of us is cutting out.
Something just happened.
You disappeared from my screen for a second.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. But we knew based on the leaks he was going to have old legs. Like this one specifically. So it wasn't a surprise if you paid attention to the leaks. It was a surprise if you haven't paid attention to the leaks.
Correct. And you can pay attention to the leaks by following Black Series Cantina on any podcasting app, which, if you're listening to this, you already do. But
yeah,
the legs, it's really unfortunate. These are near 10-year-old legs, Mike.
Yeah.
A decade-old legs.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is pretty... It's just a tough scene because Anakin is a popular enough of a character to where this they'd get the return on investment so fast by just molding new legs for Anakin. You can put him on the episode 3 Anakin. You can put him on this Anakin. You can put him on any future Anakins you do.
Well, that's the question.
You're going to get the money back.
Do you think that the new Anakin coming out is going to have these legs too? Or are they saving it? Are they saving those legs for like the surprise, oh, it's all new Anakin reveal? Like, what do you think?
I've got to say, after this reveal, well, obviously we've known since the leaks, but I don't have faith that we're going to get new legs on the new Anakin. I hope I'm wrong.
Is this the Darth Vader curse? Is that what it is? Where
it might be, and that's exactly what I was going to bring up.
But only the upper body.
Because I remember we talking about it whenever the Kenobi show came out. If we didn't get new legs on a Darth Vader for the Kenobi show, that was the time to do it. Especially since they gave him a new chest with a sculpted.
Yep.
Well, this one isn't it because it's Kit Bash I did, but here, like with the sculpted slash on his back that you're never gonna look at, and Hot Toys didn't even do that.
Yep.
And they reused the same old legs, and then on this Clone Wars Anakin, it's new media, and it's a mainline figure. They didn't put new legs on a new media mainline figure that's one of the most popular characters, one of the most looked forward to characters to come back in Star Wars. And they didn't put new legs on him, which it's got to be called out.
How similar is this to the Clone Wars one that we got back in 2021?
I think it's the limbs are all reused.
So but basically, it would be a new torso because obviously we haven't talked about it, but it's got soft goods tunic instead of the molded rubber, which is a weird choice. It's an interesting choice. Yeah,
I actually kind of have a hot take. So whenever I first saw the soft goods, I was like, I'm not really sure how I feel about it. The more I think Mike's doing exactly what I'm gonna do whenever he gets back. He's getting up to grab his Clone Wars Anakin, and I want to hold my current Clone Wars Anakin whenever he returns. So, Mike, take over the mic because I'm grabbing mine now.
Yeah, so I had to get up and grab this, and I don't know why I haven't before. So he's definitely got like a new belt piece because it's got like pouches and stuff that are like it's completely different, and it would have to anyway because on this the tunic and the skirt piece are all the same soft goods, whereas on the original figure it's molded rubber. I'm interested to see if I think the arms are the arms are the same.
It's the arms and the legs, and then probably the torso might be the same also because this is just an overlay, and that armor piece,
overlay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that armor piece could probably just be new also, or
for sure,
because it's just you just take it could be the same. You just take this piece, you just detach the, you razor that off in the little edit.
So it is literally it's the same torso, same arms, and same legs as the 2021 figure with the new belt. The soft
and I'm
goods.
looking at if you look at the shoulder pad, it looks like the chest, like the armor piece on the shoulder and chest is new because the shoulder pads on the current Clone Wars are really wide. And they do look a little narrower on the.
They look narrower, and obviously it's a new, like, shoulder armor piece, like the whatever the upper chest piece is new because that's part of the sculpted tunic on the original piece. So new shoulders, new like chest piece, new soft goods, new belt, new head.
The stuff on top is new. The legs, arms, and like inner
waist,
torso,
inner torso are all the same. Yeah.
But I might have a little bit of a hot take because whenever I first saw it, I was like, "Ooh, I don't really know about the soft goods. I feel like it might look really cheap."
I just realized that this Anakin has soft goods under the robe.
Yeah, it's the under robe.
I had never noticed that before.
I've actually the current Clone Wars Anakin.
Yeah.
I've never liked how this figure looked. I've always just felt it looks too awkward. Like the Obi-Wan is perfect. The Obi-Wan is amazing.
Obi-Wan's one of the it's in our top 10 our Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That figure is perfect.
I've always felt that this Clone Wars Anakin looked awkward with the full plastic robes going down, and it's grown on me over the years. I think I've said that before, but it's pretty underwhelming in my opinion, especially the face. But if you take the face out, I'm not the biggest fan of it. So
you know what the face is perfect for? The Rebels Anakin Skywalker, where he just looks weird.
Oh my god, that god awful scene with
it was so terrible.
They butchered Anakin and Yoda.
Oh
Rebels,
man, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely,
I love
butchered.
Rebels. I love Rebels, but like that Anakin, and I wouldn't even say that Yoda, bad.
The Yoda and Anakin are god, but they nailed Darth Vader. I love his McCrory style. But back to the Clone Wars Anakin figure. But after a couple days of looking at this soft goods, I'm actually kind of feeling it. Like I like the way that the soft goods lays under the upper chest. It's kind of like the Sidious, where we got the upper plastic holding down the soft goods, and you're able to I think it looks worse. Like this picture we're showing right now on the right, where it's just stationary like that, it looks a little awkward. But on the poses on these, I think it looks pretty solid, and I think I'm a fan of it. So I think I'm just going to display this one, if I'm being honest. I know that's a hot take. I know most people are just going to head swap onto the old one. But
no, I'm getting this one, and I'm going to use this one as a display. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this old one. It'll probably go in my bin of things that I just don't display anymore.
Yeah, I might end up trying to sell this one off, or just put it in the bin, or maybe honestly just keep it for a 3D print or something. I can have 2 of them.
Sure.
If we get some Clone Wars type things, I'll have 2 of them just in case.
But yeah, it doesn't look like Anakin is the problem.
Yeah, the old one is.
This could just be someone else. It's Canakin. Tanakin? Mannequin? Anakin?
I think it looks like Michael Cera.
Anna Kendrick?
And I'm going to remove this and add... I actually think the likeness is really good on this new Anakin figure.
It is.
What do you think? I think they nailed it. I think because he looks more like he does on the promo image on the top left, where the age is taken off, more than it is in the actual show. Because you can kind of see his age a little bit on that top right one.
Yeah.
So, I feel like they did good because this is it's a Clone Wars Anakin, so he should look really young. And I feel like it looks really close to Hayden, in my opinion.
I agree.
And then I did some comparison shots here for the old one and the new one. These are all on my Instagram if people want to go check them out, just try to compare the two. But I actually like the soft goods. They've been growing on me, so I think I think the belt is a lot better.
I like the belt. I like the belt a lot, and it's so weird. But the belt looks so good. Yeah.
Yeah. It just looks more natural, I think.
It does, yeah.
I don't know what it is about it, but like the face is a massive improvement, but it's unfortunate that we couldn't get, new legs.
Yeah.
So it's going to plague us for forever, it seems like. But these are selling like hotcakes. It's
sold out. Anakin sold out anyway. Yeah.
I knew they were going to be really popular, so I was like, you know what? I'm posting my affiliate link everywhere I can. Instagram, TikTok, Reddit. I logged into our TBS Cantina Reddit and posted it as soon as it went up. Yeah, and luckily on Amazon they went up 5 minutes before, so I got them out pretty early. Yeah. I put it on like a Facebook group. The last time I checked, 244 of them between the two of them through my affiliate link. And I'm going to get an updated number because it was literally like 55 sold in the first 6 minutes. It was absurd. And that's just my small little tiny 0.0001% of like the amount of these sold probably. So
sure. Yeah. Well, but the thing is,
the current number is 255 of these have sold through my affiliate, like 141 Anakins and 114 Rexes.
You personally on your little affiliate link sold as many of these as like Vale's Toys makes in total of like a figure.
That is true. That is true. Wilbon, I appreciate it. I used your link, so
I didn't use your link. I just bought it.
It's okay. It's okay. I mean, I only did Amazon because,
sure,
I used to post the Entertainment Earth links, but people usually end up canceling most of the. And I don't have as many followers as I used to, of course.
Yeah.
On Instagram, so the Entertainment Earth ones used to be good, but now like Amazon, it's just people usually don't cancel that because they want their free shipping.
Yeah.
or they'll like pack it with something else that has to get free shipping. So
it's nice that they both sold out on Hasbro Pulse, and that's always a nice feeling.
Yeah, it really is. Like it's always good knowing that people still want.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, you know what we didn't put on here? I'm realizing it. I got a message today saying that the Clone Trooper Super Battle Droid release date got pushed up to like 2 weeks from now.
Nice. There you go.
So I got a shipping soon notification from that. So because it's sold out on the website as well.
Shout out to multiple people in the chat using my affiliate link that goes along with it.
You guys are just lining Zach's pockets.
Look, I got to afford this stuff somehow, you know. I got to fix the hole in my car that we talked about on the...
That's true.
The Patreon.
You have a hole... Yeah, for the people that aren't Patreon members, which is most of you, we had a fun discussion today. Zach got a new car, and he immediately broke it.
It's not my fault, okay? People need
it's not your fault.
They need to get the ice off the road. So quickly, for the people who aren't Patreon members, I bought a new car on November 23rd. Literally 2 months to the day. Today we're recording this January 23rd. A couple of days ago, I was driving home from work, and a piece of ice hit my front end, and the grill of the car, the really nice black grill, big hole right in the middle of it. Well, so... That's going to be like $1,000 probably the replacement. So that's what I'm gearing up for.
Will Bond reminded us that Yakface said that Shakti, Sebulba, and Luminar are arriving in the U.S., but that doesn't really mean much. Those figures could still be like 2 months off. Just because they're in the U.S. doesn't mean their like release is imminent, because they could go sit in a warehouse for a while. Like they could be pushed out to all the distribution things, and like. It's nice to know that, but like if you ever go back and look and see when he posts that something is like hitting the US, like ports, and when they actually get put on stores, there's usually a good chunk of time in between those. So it's not like that means like next week or 2 weeks that these things will be out. It could still be a month or two away.
Yeah, absolutely. It is cool to know that at least they're hopefully going to be here soon, because I really want all those figures. You know, prequel shelf needs them big time.
Sebulba, I honestly don't see how Sebulba's not going to be my top 10 this year,
unless the figure falls apart when you're messing with it.
Okay, all right, fine. Barring catastrophic mess ups from Hasbro, which is not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. So let's see. So after the reveals, now we move on to our sort of discussion topic for the podcast. Mike, you're quitting G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
So what's going on here?
I forgot that we were going to discuss that, because I posted it and you're like, we should talk about that. So I added it to our notes. Just real quick, part of it is sometimes at the beginning of the year, I always do a little like assessment of where my toy collecting is at. Usually spurned by doing my top 10 figure list, and usually spurned by things I got for Christmas that year. I usually get toys. And then I go, okay, where am I going to put these? Like, are they going to sit on my desk for a couple months? Are they going to go in a bin, or are we going to put them on the shelf? And when my shelves are full, you have to do like sort of an assessment of what's important to you. Like, what do I collect? And obviously, part of it is I'm way too invested in the Black Series to stop collecting Black Series. But part of it is because I still really love Star Wars. Black Series isn't my favorite line to collect right now. Part of it's just because, it's a 14. Wait, no, how old is it? 11 years? 11 year old
11. Yeah, 11.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm giving it an extra couple of years.
Well, we're like, I guess we're 11 and a half because it was 2013.
We're moving on to 12. Yeah.
Yeah. In the summertime, so fall time.
It's something that's like not new, so it loses a little bit of that shininess. But it's something I still do love to collect, because I do love Star Wars and I love toys, and It's the size that I like. So Star Wars is never going to go away. And so I look at the other things I collect. I collect G.I. Joe classified series. I collect Transformers, and I collect some Ninja Turtles, but mostly like Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions. And Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions is like my number one line right now. That's the line that brings me the most joy of all the things that I collect. Transformers is probably never going to go anywhere because that's one of the oldest things I collected. I don't think, even when I wasn't collecting toys, I still had Transformers because I really like the concept. So G.I. Joe was like the logical choice of like, lately I haven't loved the figures I've gotten in hand. They've felt weird. They've been disappointing. They just take up so much room, like with the his tank back here. It's big. Just, it's big and it takes up so much room. And how many more figures could I put on the shelf instead of that? So it's like something's got to go, something's got to stop. And I think G.I. Joe hit that limit where I just don't feel the need when they announce new figures to even want to pre-order them. So I've canceled all my pre-orders. I've taken, except for the his tank here, just because I don't have any place to put it. I've taken everything off the shelves. It's just. So
are you at a point where you're not going to display them and not order more? Or are you at a point where you're actually going to sell some of them off and fund new, things?
Good question. I'm definitely selling some things off. I'm not going to sell them all because I do think that, in the future I could get back into it. Like I don't want to do anything permanent, but I could always just rebuy stuff. But definitely a lot of the vehicles, especially because they have decent aftermarket values, it would be a good thing to sell. And then there is stuff coming out this year. The big thing on my radar. In
the dragon,
they're gonna put that dragon up for order, and I'm 100% getting that dragon. That's like a no brainer for me. I'm getting that dragon.
You should, I got an idea for you.
Sure,
whenever you order that dragon, just go ahead and put my address on it because
that's a good point.
Don't want. Yeah. No, I'm gonna not be selfish, and I don't want you to have to worry about putting that on a plane and moving it to Illinois, all the way from San Diego. It's gonna be a hassle. So you just send it to me. I'll hold on to it until I see you.
That makes
in person
sense.
after you move. And
to be fair, there's no way it's gonna come out before I move because it's not gonna come out to like 2026 or 27.
Oh, I didn't know it was that far off. But that makes sense.
It's gonna be a Kickstarter, and then
that makes sense.
And then Wilbon also said getting ready to move has made him go through all of his stuff and prioritize, and that's also something that I'm doing because in 6-7 months time my wife and I are going to be moving to Illinois. So a lot of it now is like, what can I pare down and sell off so I have less stuff to move.
Yeah,
and Pletha wants to know if I really need a car. Yes, I really need a car. Great question, though. Glad you're asking that. But yeah, I just, and it's not like I don't. Part of it is I don't really like G.I. Joe as much as I did even a year ago. Like last April, I made a video about how much I love the G.I. Joe line and how it was like the coolest line with the coolest stuff. And here I am, like a year and a half later, and like I have the opposite opinion. Like it's the line I like the least. And part of it, and this is getting a little deeper than we usually go on this, but
go ahead.
It's like, part of it is, there's a lot of fantasy stuff in G.I. Joe, like a lot of silly stuff. I have a guy who dresses like a big robot hawk. Like, that's silly. But then a lot of it is just dudes with guns, like military. And I don't know. It just kind of lost a lot of luster for me recently. Where I just don't care about that as much. It's not
that's
something.
That's totally interesting.
Yeah. So like I appreciate things like this dude with armor and antler helmet and like a battle mace and shield. Like, to me, that's more fun than a guy holding a gun in camo and a helmet with sunglasses on. You know, like that's just kind of more where I care about now.
Yeah, that's totally understandable and reasonable to get off a line. I'm actually sort of in the same boat with Marvel.
Yeah.
You know, I used to get a lot of like the Spider-Man and Iron Mans, but I think I'm at the point now where, especially since, you know, still going hard on Black Series, being more selective with Black Series, but, you know, especially with this year and last year, releasing more stuff I'm interested in, like prequels and, you know, OT stuff, which is, you know, mainly collecting for me, and then some new media stuff here and there. But then going so hard on like the Dragon Ball Z SHF figures, because those are expensive. You know, I just got my shipping notification for the pack with Gohan and Goku and the Flying Nimbus set. And then, you know, I got Majin Buu pre-ordered, you know, but you got to pay for those like at pre-order day on Premium Bandai and all that. So going hard on those, and like, those are like my childhood, Star Wars, Dragon Ball Z. So but Marvel, I've always liked Marvel, and I think I might be out on the figures except for like just a couple, like the Toby Spider-Man and the Doc Ock, you know, and then maybe an Iron Man, like the original. I think that the first.
So, and
Iron
for
Man
you, it's specifically movie stuff, right? It's MCU stuff. Like you don't care about the Maximum Spider-Man that's just coming out, right?
No, it's specifically like Toby Spider-Man and the Doc Ock, and then like the current MCU. But even like MCU stuff, I was looking at the shelf, and I feel like I'm at the point with stuff that I want to collect on the side. I just want 3 to 4, maybe like 5 characters that I care about, and that's it. I want like smaller sub collections of what I like. That aren't Star Wars and Dragon Ball Z. Like, because Dragon Ball Z, I feel like I can keep going on those. But honestly, I might slim those down a little. But I just love them so much, and I don't know if I even want to, because they're all so good, you know. But I do have a couple too many Gokus, especially now that they're releasing, you know, the Goku with the Flying Nimbus set. Like, that's going to be my. So I have like 1 or 2 Gokus I can get rid of, but everything else I'm pretty good with. But specifically with Marvel, like, I'm looking at my shelf, and, you know, I got like I don't even know her name. From WandaVision. What's her name? What's that villain?
Agatha Harkness?
No, the main character. Like,
what do you mean, the Wanda?
Wanda. I think her name is Wanda, but I'm blanking.
If you said WandaVision, like, it's Wanda Maximoff. You got Scarlet Witch?
Scarlet Witch. I have her, and I'm like, I liked her from the Doctor Strange movie, but at the same time, like, I don't need a figure of her, so. You know, and then I have like the fat Thor figure, and I'm like, if I want a Thor, I want like the first. I want like the first Avenger Thor, which is out, but I haven't bought it. So, but so I'll keep like a Spider-Man, and an Iron Man, and a Captain America, and like the Thanos, and I have like a Mafex Iron Spider for some reason, so I'm probably gonna try to get rid of that too. I think slimming down the collection a little, open up some space for some other things, and
for sure.
So, I'm right there with you. But I mean, yours is more drastic because you've been collecting GI Joe for long.
Since the line came out, and for a while, like, that was one of those things. Like, oh man, I remember thinking back in like 2017, 2018, like, oh man, if they ever came out with 6-inch GI Joes, like, I don't know what I would do. That would be like the line I would collect, and I did. Like, I went hard on it. For most of his existence, and now I just am so cold on the line. Like, I just do not care about it. Doesn't bring me any joy anymore. And you know, I still follow the news. Like, when I care about when they do. Well, same thing with Marvel. Like, I watch Marvel reviews, like reveals and stuff. I'm not gonna buy any of these, but it's nice to know what's coming out. Like, what does it look like? Like, what are they releasing? Like that. I still love toys, I guess, but I can't buy everything. So, you know, I'm only focusing on what I can, but I still like to watch and know stuff.
Yeah, for sure. You still want to keep up with the latest toy news, and even if it's something you don't necessarily collect, it's still good to be in the know about things for whenever it comes up and all that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, Do you want to do Hall of Fame or Skeleton Crew finale first?
Let's do Skeleton Crew finale and then end with Hall of Fame.
All right, and Wilbon does have a good point here. He says, all things have their life cycle. As a collector, we collect until it stops bringing us joy.
Yep. And that's why I just thought it was important to talk about that, because it just happened to me. Like, and I didn't expect it and didn't see it coming. It just kind of happened. And could that happen one day with Star Wars? Maybe. I don't think so, but maybe.
Yeah, I feel like Star Wars is the one thing that I know it'll always be there. They're always going to do a new, every 5 years, they're going to do a new Luke, new, I mean, it took us a long time to get a new Anakin, but a new Vader, a new, there's always going to be something to pull me back in, even if I get to the point where it's like, I'm at the point of my life where I need to focus on other things. And but
well, it'll be one of those things where I'll pare it down. Like, okay, I don't need a shelf of sequel figures or Rebels figures. I know a lot of people are doing that right now. Justin's doing that. Wilbon just did that. I think both of them just got rid of Bad Batch and like Rebels figures and stuff. Like, I get that 100%. You just want to pare it down to the things that you like more than other things, because you can't display everything. You just don't have enough time or space or whatever. Yeah.
Also, it can be like very hard financially. It's easier financially if you just really focus on what you really, really want instead of just, I like this show, I'm going to get the figures. And that's why I haven't fully committed to the Skeleton Crew figures yet.
Sure.
I really like the Neil and I like the crew, but I feel like in a year I'll be like, do I need a shelf full of Skeleton Crew figures?
Do you remember you had them? Do you remember it came out? Yeah.
So I've been holding off on those, and then, but for the most part, Star Wars, like, I've never really looked at especially for the collection, like, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi is separate from sort of Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Like, it's all just one universe whenever I look at my shelf. So that's why I have Rebels and Rogue One mixed up right here, like half Rebels, half Rogue One.
There's a lot
because I just kind of look at it. Is it like the gaming stormtroopers and like the movie stormtroopers? They're all just one army to me.
Sure.
So I feel like I don't need to get rid of like the gaming stuff or anything, because it's just all Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I get that.
But Skeleton Crew, so like separated, I feel like I'm good without those right now.
I think that's fine for sure.
And so what says, I mostly need space for more hot toys.
That's always a hole people fall down. I almost fell hard in it.
I almost fell in it.
Yeah.
I bought, and also I feel like at the time I tried to get into hot toys. Like, I got the Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader and it was amazing. But whenever I feel like hot toys look like they're worth the price, but they don't feel like they're worth the price.
I agree.
They feel like they're like hollow.
They feel so light. Yeah.
And I remember whenever the first time Nate and Justin came down for ICCCon to stay here, the year before you came down. Whoops, I didn't mean to bring that up again. I told Nate, I said, feel it, because he never held a hot toy before, and he picked up the Darth Vader, and he was surprised at how hollow and light it is.
It feels so light. Yeah, I 100%. That's the first thing I noticed, because my first hot toy was Commander Cody. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, it feels, I don't want to say it feels cheap, but it doesn't feel weighty.
It doesn't feel worth the price you pay,
Kinda, yeah.
And I paid, if I remember correctly, I think I paid $180 for the Force Awakens Kylo Ren. So those were the two hot toys I had. Because I was at the time in my life, I was like, I was living in an apartment with, my, current wife, girlfriend at the time, and her dad. So we only had one room to ourselves. And it's like, I'm not displaying any of my Black Series figures. I don't have the space. Maybe I'll trim down and I'll just get some Hot Toys figures. I can afford it. And then I get them, and it's like, and I didn't want to buy multiple of those, because it's like, they're so expensive. They don't feel like
you can't like army build hot toys, like stormtroopers and clone troopers and stuff. Yeah.
And then whenever,
you can, but that's pricey.
And I know I've told the story on the podcast before, but whenever Photo Reel came back into the Black Series, that really pulled me back in, because for $19.99 or $22.99, now $24.99, you can get a really good figure that still feels like a toy. And I like it sounds weird to say, but I like the Hasbro figures because they feel like toys, how I used to play with as a kid, but they look like Luke Skywalker, or they look like Obi-Wan from the movie or the show, you know. I like Hot Toys because they're really cool looking, but I like Hasbro Black Series figures because they feel like toys I played with as a kid, you know, if that makes sense.
Well, also, like, I just feel like you don't worry about playing with a Black Series figure. Like, every time I'm messing around with one of my Hot Toys, I feel like I'm being so delicate with it. Like, I don't want to break anything, because you can't just go buy another one and replace it, you know? Yeah. Like, I'm just worried about that stuff where I feel like you can't really play with it.
Yeah. And I like messing with the figures, you know, that's why that's why I just like I guess that's why I'm still like really liking the Black Series, because I just like how they're toys, you know.
I can sell all mine except for I've got the IG 11 on the speeder bike with Grogu.
Oh no, that's your boy.
I love that scene. It's honestly like just basically like having like a statue. Like, I could have just bought a statue of that and had the same effect, because I'm never gonna move them out of that.
Yeah, for sure. But let's jump into Skeleton Crew finale. I'm gonna say it. I feel like this is as close to perfect as they could do. You know, this is a story that had a beginning, middle, and end. There's no need for it to continue. If they want to continue with Wim maybe being, you know, introductory into the New Republic X-Wing fighter one day, sure, go ahead. But if they don't follow up on any of it, it had a perfect, you know, beginning, middle, end. It was a good story, entertaining story, and I'm good with it. I think they crushed the show. I was really worried how it would go whenever, you know, the premise was revealed and all that, but the trailer looked good. And then I think they executed the show as good as they can. I think it's up there with, I don't want to say it's better than Mando. You know, I don't think it's better than Mando. You know, I think it's made better than some of the other Disney Plus shows we've gotten. You know, I think you can tell they genuinely cared about making a good story, and I think it really paid off for them this time.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with what you said. I think I've said this before, like, we don't need a season 2 of Skeleton Crew. The story they told was pretty self-contained. It's like a one-off spin-off thing. What they should do is like an anthology series where, like, we got Skeleton Crew, and then next year or 2 years from now, give us a story, an 8-episode story somewhere else in the galaxy with different people. Like, you know, same kind of vein, same kind of adventure, whatever. But what they gave us is a perfect little self-contained story of these kids that went on a great adventure, came back home, everything wrapped up. Would I like it if, like, Jod popped up somewhere else in a different story? Sure. Absolutely. I feel like there's more you could do with him, but it doesn't have to be Skeleton Crew season 2.
Yeah, I agree. But specifically, let's talk specifically about the finale.
Yeah.
At the end, did you think that Jod was a little proud of the kids? I kind of got that vibe, but am I alone in that or no?
I feel like a little bit. Like, I feel like he's conflicted because he's not. He never wanted to hurt anybody. Like, he threatened them and stuff, but it's very obvious that he never really wanted to hurt anyone. But he did want the money, like,
except for Brutus. He wanted to hurt Brutus.
Brutus was a different, Brutus was a different thing. And rest in peace, Brutus. That guy, he got executed.
Low key, pretty deserved on Brutus's part.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Brutus was the one that basically led the mutiny and stuff like that. Like, I 100% get what he did, but, like, he didn't want to hurt the kids or their family. Like, it's very clear that he was. Like, when he
could easily have
shot them all at any point, but part of it is he needed them because he wanted to essentially become the supervisor and have them continue his work. That's what he wanted to do, where he would just be in charge of it and get all the money and stuff. So he didn't want to kill anybody, partially for that reason, but also partially because I don't think he really was like that bad of a guy. He's just a villain of the story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. And whenever they got in the elevator at the end to escape, and then I think Wim yells out Jod, and he kind of turns and looks at him. I feel like, I don't know if he gave him a little bit of a smirk, but it just looked like he was kind of proud that he was like, "Wait, these kids actually did it." Like, I'm kind of proud that they went on this journey and completed it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he pops up in something later on. I feel like he's definitely going to escape. There's no way those X-Wings.
Oh, for sure. No, I think he can definitely pop up in something. But what'd you think of like the supervisor being basically a big droid? Like it's like a big R2 head or like astromech droid head. Yeah,
that was a surprise to me. I was also kind of surprised that he was so willing to invite the person into meeting him and not having his consciousness sort of in one of those droids, the security droids walking around. Because it would make sense if he had, like, that main droid was his hub, like that's where all the data is stored, but he was like on the top level, and then the second level is like the real, like the main top level that everybody knows is there, and then one of the security droids is like, you know, his consciousness, and people think that's a supervisor, but it's like he has a backup of like the main big thing. That would have made a little more sense, but
I just think he was not overconfident. Like, can a droid be overconfident? Like, that's just how he was programmed. Like, they didn't need all that extra security because getting to the planet was impossible, you know? So at some point, like, he didn't think there was any real danger, and he didn't think if there was any danger, he didn't think there was danger that they couldn't overcome because he had all those droids and stuff. Like,
I did think it was really cool whenever he said, well, the last communication we got from the Republic was that the Jedi
were traitors.
Are traitors. And so which lie are you telling? And so that was really cool. Little nod back to Order 66 and all that.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. And it kind of makes me think, because they let the security droids or whoever it was, you know, he said, "I'm the Republic emissary," or whatever.
Yep.
Who do you think? Because somebody would have had access to that from the Republic. Do you think Jedi were the protectors of that, potentially? And then something to think about, why wouldn't the Empire have known about this place? Because if Chancellor Palpatine was in the position he was in the prequels for so long, you feel like he would have known about this source of credits that they're getting. And you feel I feel like he would have known about that and used it for the Empire, but I know they transferred to Imperial credits, you know, so I just wonder how that stayed hidden from Palpatine, or if he just didn't care, it was just worthless by the time the Empire took over. It just seemed like if it's gold, it might still have been valuable, and they could have melted it down and made new Imperial credits or whatever. I don't know the exact.
Yeah, I don't think it's the gold that's actually valuable. Like, it's kind of interesting. Like,
well, it has to be like a precious metal. I feel like, right?
Is it though? Like, I don't know, because like
they're mining it though.
If I gave you 100, no, are they? They're not mining it. Where were they mining it?
They work in because remember they said the punishment is you go work in the mines. I'm pretty sure you have to mine them.
But yeah, but they don't. But that was
to make the credits.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think that's how it worked at all.
I mean, you can't just like 3D printing these credits. They got to be.
I don't know.
The material from somewhere.
But like, you know, $100 bill isn't worth $100 because it's made out of $100 paper. It's worth that much because that's how much the government has said that's how much it's worth.
Yeah, but also if you have a gold bar, that keeps its value no matter what happens to the U.S. dollar around the world. So if their coins were made out of a precious metal, then I feel like it would still. But I mean, that's questions we don't have answers to.
So. We don't have answers to those questions. Yeah, we don't know how money works in Star Wars, and that's one of those things. You know, this also happened with like the Solo movie and to an extent the sequel trilogy. Like, stuff works on fuel, But nothing's ever come up about fuel in Star Wars until like newer Star Wars. No one's ever talked about like the Millennium Falcon having to gas up, you know, like.
And the Last Jedi is like, oh, we only have enough gas to outrun them for an hour.
Exactly. Or even like they never really talk about how droids need to get like recharged, except for there's one episode of the Clone Wars cartoon where C-3PO and R2 are like running out of power on this like random little like side quest they're on. So it's interesting when they try to bring like real world, not problems, but concepts to Star Wars that like haven't really addressed before.
In A New Hope, whenever C-3PO says like his joints are freezing or something like that.
Sure.
Even though they're on a desert planet.
Well, I think he meant freezing up as in like, it's from like, well, I thought it was from the like sand and stuff getting up there, like messing with the actual joints. Like
I always thought it was like the computers in him wouldn't communicate as well in the cold or something. I don't know. Oh, there's a lot of ways you can interpret.
We both interpreted that two completely different ways for that one because there's no explanation. So
I mean, either way works really when you think about it.
Yeah. Or like, man, it's weird when they do that. And like how hyperspace works. Like, can you have a blockade of a planet when there's just one ship there? Or like,
yeah, why can't you go to the other side of the planet?
Other side, and they've come up with explanations, but they've had to come up with these explanations.
Yeah.
To make it make sense. Like, oh, it's lanes.
Yeah.
It's like a highway system and it's stuff like that. Whereas like in the original Star Wars, it just made it sound like, oh, you just have to calculate a trajectory that doesn't make you go through anything like that can kill you or whatever. So it's
part of me that made me think it was a precious metal resource is because it's a pirate show and you're seeking the gold. And then the aesthetic of it was shiny gold. And so I thought that's the vibe it was giving off.
You're not wrong. And that definitely, there's definitely some kind of correlation between the Republic credits and current value, whether a weird exchange rate, collector value, like aftermarket credit value, or what it's made out of. Because clearly when those kids went to the pirate port or whatever, like flashing around those credits, like people were freaking out because of those credits. So like those credits have some kind of intrinsic value, either because of what they are being Old Republic credits or because of what they're made out of or some combination of both.
Yeah. And I could also see like maybe Mon Mothma and the beginning of the, Galactic Republic.
Sure.
Them sort of trying to hide that from Palpatine if he didn't know about it, whenever the Empire was formed, and try to keep the AT-AT and credits a secret so that way one day they would have the funds to build up a military and all that stuff to fight the Empire. And maybe we'll see, because we've seen, Mon Mothma was talking about, financial problems in Andor season 1. So there's some background there already.
Well, and then there's also, in I think season 6 of Clone Wars cartoon, there's a whole episode where they're talking about having to like borrow more money from the banking clans for stuff. Like they brought tried real world finances, like how much does it cost to build a Death Star? Like, things that you don't really think about. But sure, they probably did cost money. How'd they pay for it? I don't know. Do you have to pay your imperial taxes? Like, do they have a planet that mints it? So, but obviously something happened. This planet was lost. Either Palpatine knew about it and was keeping it a secret for whatever reason, or he didn't know about it for whatever reason. And like, you could come up with your own headcanon for that. And I think they purposely leave that stuff for you to figure out, because ultimately, and this is the point, ultimately, it's not important to the story.
That is true.
The important fact is that it is, and this is the story they're going to tell. Does it cause?
Well, you know what they're going to do.
You want to know more about it? Sure, but they can always fix that stuff. They can always answer that stuff. It doesn't.
They're gonna do a book or a comic where Palpatine actually used the Anakin money for the Empire in the Rise of Skywalker to get all those ships made and all that. That's what they'll do.
Or it could be, or that's how maybe the First Order stole it to start turning into the First Order.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
anything's possible.
Yeah, for sure. And they could do that. They could come out with something where like they mentioned like, oh, we just got that windfall from Anakin or whatever. Like, you know, there could be tons of stuff like that. And we don't have all the answers right now. And like I said, ultimately, it's not important. It's not important to enjoying the story anyway.
And I love the part whenever that ship shot at Neil and he just like goes flying in the air and just screams. And then there was a screenshot put on Twitter and I put it on my Instagram story. Oh, it just said the subtitles of Neil flying in there. It said screaming. It was just so hilarious. But I think it was a really good show and
loved it.
They nailed it.
Yep. I definitely, I thought it stuck the landing. It's not like this grand epic masterpiece of Star Wars. It's just a fun adventure, and that's enough. You know?
Yeah.
Kind of like what you're saying. Like, I wouldn't compare it to Andor in terms of like, Andor had a lot going on. There were like, it was like Game of Thrones and Star Wars. Like, this was not that, you know? And that's okay. It doesn't make it less because it's not that. It just makes it what it is.
Yeah, I think it's just like the perfect Star Wars adventure show. You get a couple kids, they're on a mission, they run into some bad guys, they go through some trials and tribulations, and it all works out at the end. And then I'm glad that I know some other people have mentioned this as well, but they resisted the urge to like include Skywalker at the end,
or even like a Hondo Onaka. I was honestly afraid when the New Republic, you know, burst in, we'd get like Rebels people like you know,
Zeb and all
Zeb, or like Carson Teva would be flying, and I'm like, sure, if they did that, like they want to tie it together, I get it, like, but it was kind of nice because whenever you do that, and I think the creators of the show even said this, it makes the universe feel too small.
Mm-hmm.
We're like the New Republic army is bigger than Carson Teva and the people you've seen before, like.
Yeah.
Why would they be there specifically? Like how fast are they gallivanting around the galaxy where they're everywhere? There happens to be a TV show going on, you know? So I'm glad
in my headcanon on that freighter at the end, Leia's on that ship. Leia's on there.
People say that.
Yeah.
I've heard a couple people say that. And if you want
until proven differently.
No. I think that's absolutely fine if you want to headcanon that. I'm just glad they didn't show it.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
But I agree. I mean, I don't think there's no new like toy. There's nothing from that last episode where like, oh man, toys. Like, I want all the same toys we had before. We definitely need a Captain Silvo, definitely with a lightsaber, definitely with that hat. I still don't want like a Wim's dad figure.
Good on that.
I did like Wim's dad in that last episode. I liked how he just hopped on the little bikes and like went on the adventure. And I thought that the bike chase was actually really good. It's like the polar opposite
of the Book of Boba Fett one.
Book of Boba Fett bike chase. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it was really good overall. I think the character moments, like Fern and her mom, like that was really good.
Great.
And it was sort of reminded me of.
I loved KB by the end. Like, I just thought they did such a good job.
It reminded me of Luke and Vader in Return of the Jedi, because she's like saying, "Please, Mom," and like it goes back and forth so many times. And they're kind of in like a similar environment too. That environment looked very Episode 6, you know, Palpatine's area themed. And like just the way that like her mom is like looking at the thing and looks back at her,
destroy
and then looks back at the handle to pull it and looks back at her. It's like, this is straight out of Return of the Jedi, and it was cool. I think.
Well, and they began the show with a little nod to A New Hope, like with the docking scene, and so it's kind of, they kind of bookended the show with like nods to the original trilogy.
I didn't think about that.
It is kind of neat. Yeah,
I like that. So I think they totally nailed it. The characters were likable.
Yep.
I think the pacing of the show was pretty good. I do think it ended a little quick. I feel like we could have got a little more just aftermath stuff, but I don't mind them wanting to end it on, Wim looking up in the sky and seeing the X-wing flying, because that's his journey now. That's what he's gonna want to do. Like, he found this whole story was basically finding Wim's path off of that end, like, so he can go do something other than be a finance person, which I can say it's not the best life. It's not the best career. I mean, it's a good career, but it's not the most exciting career you could do. Take it from one himself. Yeah. But so I'm proud. I did like that little part. He's gonna do it.
I like that little part. It's like, Dad, do you think we could start it? He's like, son, you're talking to like a level 7 supervisor. Like,
yeah, of course.
Like, it was this some badass title. Like, I'm gonna bureaucracy this. Like, it was a fun little nod. But yeah, I agree. I think it was perfect because Wim didn't really fit in with whatever he wanted to do. Like, he had those dreams and aspirations, and now he can do it.
Yep. If his dad will let him.
Which I think he will.
Yeah. But, all right, so I say we go ahead and put a Black Series figure into our Black Series Cantina Hall of Fame. Last episode, we did Darth Malgus.
Yeah.
So that was number 18. We're on number 19 now. What do you, I know last time we talked about Darth Malak. We talked about Glavis Ringworld, the Mandalorian.
We did.
What else did we bring up? I'm trying to think. Did we talk about? I think we talked about the new R2. Also,
we did. We talked about the new R2. The Sith Trooper's been on there. We got like Zeb. We've got Princess Leia, Endor. You know what? One I think deserves to kind of be on there just because it's a little old, and I still think it's pretty cool. We've brought it up before. The Royal Guard.
Royal Guard. That's not on there already?
I don't think so.
I honestly, you know what? I don't think it is, but I do just want to. I don't think it's on there. I think we have talked about it before. But, it's always fun to.
Yeah.
It's always fun to go through these, so let's go through them. Empire Strikes Back, Darth Vader, Gamorrean Guard, Scout Trooper and Speeder Bike, Greedo, Luke and Yoda from Dagobah Pack, Fennec Shand, the 2020 Stormtrooper, Count Dooku, Figure Dan and the Modal Nodes, Clone Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, the good version, Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, the Hoth Rebel Trooper, Ventress, Dak and the Snow Speeder. Then we have Cad Bane and Toto Pack, General Lando, which Wilbon made us do that on his episode. General Veers, and then I haven't made one for Malgus yet, but Malgus is number 18. So yeah, Royal Guard not on there. Wilbon's vote is the Jawa.
Never the Jawa. I do not like the Jawa, and I will never vote for it.
I like the Jawa figure, but I don't think it's quite Hall of Fame worthy.
I don't like that his gun is attached to his belt. It just bugs me.
But isn't that how it is, though?
I don't care. I don't like it.
I mean, I'm fine with the Royal Guard. I feel like that makes total sense. I mean, honestly, any of the ones we named.
I'm just looking through to see if there's any like last minute things that kind of jump out at me, and I think the Royal Guard is good because honestly, could they update it with new articulation? Yes. Would it make a big difference? I don't think so.
I mean, I love the Royal Guard. I think all the sculpting underneath is great. He has the hand so you can correctly hold his staff that he has. I think the soft goods, if you get a good one and if you lay it well, it looks really nice. I think the helmet's nice and shiny, and he looks beautiful on my Return of the Jedi Emperor Palpatine throne Land Speeder Luke 3D print. So, I mean, I'm totally good with the Royal Guard.
Let's call it. Let's call it the Royal Guard.
All right, Royal Guard is number 19. Next episode, we will be doing Black Series Cantina Hall of Fame number 20, which is a big one. So we got to think of a really good figure to be number 20. So, but on that note, I'm Zach. That's Mike. Mike, do you have any YouTube stuff you're working on? Where can our, and if you have any new listeners, where can they find you?
Yep, I'm on Instagram, Mike.case. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on TikTok for however long TikTok's going to stay around. For FYI.
Hey. I have something to say.
Okay.
What lasted longer, TikTok or plastic-free packaging? The TikTok ban or plastic-free packaging?
Well, hold on.
They were both whispers in the wind.
The TikTok ban's still in effect. A lot of people don't understand this.
Look, 90 days. We got another 90 days, all right?
No. You cannot currently go on any app store and download TikTok. That
is true.
That was always the ban. In anything you ever look at about the ban, it was always removing it from the store. TikTok turning itself off was never part of the ban. That's something they did as a stunt.
That was something they did. That was
a choice that TikTok made. No one at any point was ever going to make TikTok turn itself off. Anyways, I'm on TikTok. Until TikTok's around.
Until it slowly would get
outdated. Oh, and that's what's going to happen. Well, what's going to happen is if it stays off the App Store, when you get a new phone, if you have to do an update, a software update, and the app stops working, like eventually people will not be able to use the app anymore because they can't update it or download. It
won't work properly.
Version. Yeah, correct.
Which hopefully it gets resolved. We'll see what happens.
But yeah, so I'm working on the Wave 3 video for Street Fighter figures. I've got that written. I just got to record it. I'm probably gonna do, while we're waiting for Black Series figures to come out, I'm probably gonna do some Mythic Legions videos because that's my current love. That's what I like, and I feel like there's not a lot out there. And I feel like they're neat. They're neat. So that's what I'm working on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Also follow Mike on Instagram at Mike Case. I got to update the thing here since you changed it from Trusty Sidekick. So
I did. Oh yeah, that's true. Also, I did my top 10 video. I mean, I've got a lot of videos from last year, but I think the top 10 video is pretty good.
It was really good. It wasn't only a top 10. It was a recap of the whole year before you got into the top 10. So it was really helpful to just get a refresher on, it helps with like content creation and doing a show to get a refresher.
That's what I'm here for, man. I try to make it entertaining. I try to make it fun to watch.
It was good. It was entertaining. It was an easy watch.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Instagram and the podcast Black Series Cantina. We're actually newly verified on Instagram now. We got the Meta verified, which doesn't do anything except allow me to talk to direct support and then protect the account from any random bans. So to me, it's worth the $15 a month now because I don't have to worry about a random ban on my account for
trying to get your old account back.
No reason. Well, actually, I thought I had a good. I had a long conversation with one of their people, and they ended up saying that since it's been so long that it's just like totally gone. But
man, that sucks.
Maybe I'll try to escalate it to like a specialist or something. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it at this point, honestly. Time to bury the hatchet on that one.
Sure.
It was a little exciting though, like actually being able to talk to somebody, and then I quickly realized, it's not going to happen. So, but also follow me on TikTok while it is still around at the Star Wars Black Series. Whenever I straight ripped Hasbro's content. I screen recorded their Instagram reel.
True. You did.
I was a little salty that they literally used the Black Series logo, slow zoom in and quick zoom out. I invented that template on TikTok 2+ years ago. That's mine. I claimed that and they stole it.
Oh no, but they called claimsies.
They called unclaimsies on me. Damn. But I was also at work and didn't, have time to screen record, or I didn't have time to, voice over and all that. So
sure.
I just screen recorded it, extracted the audio, changed it a little bit, made it original audio, quote unquote. But they don't upload it to TikTok anyways. I've checked. So it's original audio no matter what. And then it's got 30,000 plus views. So that worked out pretty nicely.
That's good for you. Yep.
for me. So I was a little salty, so I had to just take.
You got your money out of it.
I did profit very nicely off of that one, so that always helps. Support the podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/blackseriescantina. That's the best way to support the podcast. If you cannot do that financially, we really understand. Just leave a like on the podcast, leave a review, 5 stars reviews would be great. That really helps us out in the algorithms and all that. Buy some merch if you want, like a mug or a hoodie or a t-shirt or a pint glass. We got it all. That's on Teespring. I think teespring.com/blackseriescantina. Pretty easy to find. Follow us on Twitter. I don't think we use the Twitter that much, but it's at @TBisCantina. What we mostly use...
I think I might have deleted it.
Yeah. And then, but what we mostly use is our Facebook group, Black Series Cantina. It's a private group, so we mostly update when we're recording, when the episodes drop. We have some cool discussions in there and get some thoughts on the figures that are revealed. And then that's just called Black Series Cantina. And then keep the email segment alive. That's blackseriescantina@gmail.com. And then we'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about some more Black Series 7. Hopefully we get some more reveals, but stay tuned.
Yep. Thanks for listening. Bye.